Knickknacks Plastic Planet.
Hey guys, welcome back inside of the Plastic Planet. I'm your host Knickknack, hanging out with you guys tonight. Guys, I got a very special video for you guys in store. You guys obviously know that. You clicked on the thumbnail. That's right, guys. I got the 2024 Plastic Planet official Star Wars room tour tonight. This is going to be a massively huge video, guys. It is going to be over 3 hours long. The biggest video, the biggest upload I've ever done on this channel in my 6-year tenure here on YouTube. Watch it all in one sitting. Watch it all in a couple sittings, fast forward, whatever you need to do, because this is going to be really awesome. So, you know, I'm just going to say it, man. Go get a beer, go get yourself a delicious beverage, go get yourself some popcorn, order a pizza, whatever you got to do to get through this video, because it's going to be awesome. We are looking at the entire Plastic Planet Star Wars collection tonight. And in some cases, guys, I go item by item. Yeah, sure, I gloss over items that I've shown off in previous years' room tours a little more than newer items, but guys, it's pretty in-depth. So stick around, guys. This is going to be awesome. All right, let's do it, guys. Let's do it right now. Alrighty guys, well I am standing up here at the top of the stairs, going down into my Star Wars collection. This is the last time you guys are going to see this mug for the next 3 hours, and yes, you're welcome. For the next 3 hours, we're going to be checking out a lot of Star Wars shit. And yeah guys, let's get on it. One thing I'm not going to include in it is this picture that my mom drew back in 1984. That's fucking awesome. Alright guys, let's get on it right now. Alright guys, I'm heading downstairs here into the Star Wars wing of the Plastic Planet. And as you guys can see, I have a lot of shit down here, man. I have been at this game since 1978 in one form or another. I got the Star Wars bug when I was just a little guy riding in the back of my parents' Pontiac Grand Am, and I pulled out a birthday present from underneath the driver's side seat as I was rolling around back there, not wearing seatbelts like we did in the late 70s, early 80s. And I pulled out a figure that was hiding underneath the seat that was originally supposed to be for my birthday, and guys, it was an original 12-back Princess Leia and Han Solo, and ever since then I have had the Star Wars bug up the yin-yang. Yeah, I still got pieces from that original collection from when I was a kid, from 1978 to 1985. They are here in this collection, as are third-party and modern reproductions of Kenner figures going back to that time. Guys, I've got Sideshow collectibles, I've got Hot Toys, I have got modern Hasbro figures in multiple places across the collection. Guys, this is just a hodgepodge of a lot of retail offerings that we've gotten over the last 45 plus years in Star Wars collecting, and I think I've got a lot of it represented down here. Guys, this is, like I said, this is going to be a huge video, so I'm not going to waste any more time. I've given you guys a little bit of the lay of the land, and let's just start out. Let's just start out with my Black Series right over here. Black Series at 3.75 inch in this corner. Let's do it. Alrighty guys, well, let's start out over on this corner of the room, and for some logistical reasons, first of all, because I'm going to be actually moving this broken ass couch out of here in the next couple days, and so I thought it'd be just a really good opportunity to start out with my Black Series collection. And my Black Series collection is I don't know if it's the best displayed collection I have in my entire display, but it's pretty damn nice. And I'll go shelf by shelf, and once again, like I said, I'm not going to point out every single figure on this shelf because that would take forever, and you guys know who most of these figures are. In fact, some of you might know who they are better than me, and that's okay. So anyway, but we're going to go through just shelf to shelf, and I'll just kind of point out some of my favorites and some new additions, and yeah, we'll go from there. Alright guys, well, we are going to start out on this top shelf up here, and I'm going to show off all these figures up here. I'm not going to, like I said, I'm not going to shout every single one of them out. You guys know who these guys are, but I will point out my favorites. I do have a nice, awesome diorama piece in the middle there that I'm really proud of, but I'll get to in just a second. But on each side of that, flanking that, I have figures displayed on top of cupcake stands that I actually bought off Amazon. And I think they actually display figures really nicely. In my case, I might have them a little cluttered up here. I'm having a really hard time weeding out these shelves and maybe putting away a couple of these guys and maybe just highlighting more of my favorites, but I kind of like them all. You know, they're not all my absolute favorites, but I just enjoy having them and looking at all of them, and you know, paid good money for them, so I might as well display them. It sucks when you pay good money for things and then throw them in a box. That's just tragic. But anyway, a couple shout outs on this first cupcake stand over here. Absolutely love Jar Jar Binks. That might be one of the best, hot take maybe, but that might be one of the best Black Series figures Hasbro ever came out with. And I know a lot of people don't care for Jar Jar. I personally love Jar Jar, but I love that figure a lot. That is absolutely awesome, even though he's kind of hiding behind that giant shield. But again, absolutely awesome figure. And then down from that, I really do dig that Heir to the Empire Luke Skywalker. He is absolutely awesome. Love expanded universe Luke Skywalker in all of his forms. And another really, really awesome figure is that SH Figure Arts. That's actually not Hasbro, but SH Figure Arts Stormtrooper I have there. So clean, so crisp. It just looks like a Stormtrooper right off the deck of Darth Vader's Executor Star Destroyer. I mean, just that's tits deluxe. So yeah, looking pretty good. There's Obi-Wan and Anakin from Episode 2, and Mace Windu from Episode 2, and Padme from Episode 2. Really trying to showcase more Episode 2 stuff in my collection. I love all the prequels, and I love Episode 2 a great deal. It just came out during a great time of my life, so I just have real I don't know, man, real soft spot for that movie. Yeah, it just gives me the feels whenever I see stuff from Episode 2.
I've got a bad feeling about this.
But yeah, I love this boss dude. I don't know his name, but he was in the Solo movie, and I got that figure for like dirt frickin' cheap. He's just so big and bulky and awesome. I mean, there's some of the character designs in all the Disney films are awesome, man. I'm definitely not a fan of everything that Disney's come out with. If you're a longtime viewer subscriber over the years, you definitely know that, but the character design and everything is almost really, really awesome, because it's the same people that have worked at Lucasfilm, a lot of them for years, and they get it. So yeah, he's really cool. I love that Expanded Universe Princess Leia there. Another shout out. Again, Expanded Universe is awesome. That's a great Princess Leia. And I do love that Gaming Greats Battle Droid back there. Yeah, he's really cool. Got him at GameStop. Yeah. And then over here in the middle, like I said, this is a diorama piece that I built myself. Sort of it's a bit of a headcanon kind of thing. If you're a longtime viewer subscriber, you've seen this a couple times. But I basically got Luke Skywalker and Mara Jade, C-3PO and R2-D2 inside of this, like how I kind of see it as like inside of an asteroid. And they're basically like negotiating a trade agreement with this like wicked ass looking insectoid ant species. And of course, those ants are not Star Wars figures. They actually are got them off Big Bad Toy Store. I can't remember the name of the company that made them, but they're really, really cool. A bit fragile, but they're really neat. And I think they definitely fit in that 1/12 scale ilk. And as far as how they display with these guys, I think they display awesome with them. So anyway, yeah, so they live inside of this asteroid, and Luke and Mara Jade, and of course C-3PO is interpreting for them. They're negotiating like a trade route so that the new Republic can run some medical supplies through their system to get to a planet in distress. And Luke's doing his best, ambassador Jedi, freshly new Jedi. Work there, and Mara's supporting him, and yeah, this is what frickin' Star Wars should be. Oh, there's Grogu on the back too, because it's like this is what we should have gotten, man. When as soon as Luke took Grogu from Din Djarin in season 2 finale of Mandalorian, this is where it should have gone, man. Is this? But I digress. But I can always have it in my head canon, and no one can take that away from me. Moving over here, we got some Star Wars wildlife there with a Yasamari lizard from Heir to the Empire. I probably mispronounced that name. I don't know. With some porgs and Grogu, and yeah, guys, I did not like The Last Jedi, but some of the stuff in it was cool. Porgs are kind of neat, but the movie overall was ass. But I don't know. But anyway, guys. Moving over here into this next cupcake shelf. Oh, that is not a Star Wars guy, as you guys probably all know. That is actually a Cosmic Legions action figure. But again, just like those ants, I think it fits really, really awesomely in my 1/12 scale action figure collection over here. And, you guys are going to see as we move along through the collection, there might be one or two other non-Star Wars Easter eggs. And I may or may not shout them out, and maybe you can pick them out yourself that you may see. But yeah, he is definitely one of my non-Star Wars Easter eggs, as well as those ants. I actually originally bought him to put in that diorama just there, but I actually felt like there wasn't enough room in there for him. He'd kind of block the planet and just kind of make it look a little cluttered in there. I didn't want it cluttered in that particular diorama. I wanted it a little little more open, like it's cavernous, and I thought he might clutter it because he's pretty big. He's a pretty big dude, as you guys can see next to some of my other figures. But he is rad, and, you know, again, he looks awesome. A couple other shout-outs along these shelves here. I got my Ewoks there, got Tebow. Tebow might be falling over a little bit. Paplu and Wicket. And then over here, Admiral Akbar. That's just a fucking awesome Black Series figure. And so is that Ayla Sakura. Man, she's beautiful. Great looking figure as well. And then up top here, this is one of my favorite figures I have in the collection, or in my 1/12 scale figure collection anyway. And that is the Return of the Jedi SH Figuarts Luke Skywalker. Just epic, awesome, and legendary. Yeah, that looks great. And even that, even that Black Series Leia, if you get her in the right angle, she actually looks pretty good. It's a pretty good figure for an older Black Series figure, but yeah, looking good. And then it kind of creeps around the side here. Just got some short troopers. Got that minor droid from the Kenobi series. I like him. I thought he was a cool character in the show. But yeah, looking good. Bo-Katan up there as well. Yeah, nice. Cad Bane. Ooh, look at Cad Bane. Pretty awesome. Alrighty guys, coming down to the next shelf, or cubby as it would be. This actually might be one of my best Black Series displays that I have in the collection, outside of that diorama I have up there of Luke Skywalker, Mara Jade, and the Ant People. But this one's pretty good, even though I'm not a real big fan of the Rebels cartoon series. I mean, it was okay, but I mean, Clone Wars was miles beyond it, and frankly, a lot of other things have been better than Rebels. But you know, I've managed to rewatch this series since it's been on Disney XD, on Disney Plus, and there's some really, really great episodes in there. There's some really great episodes that I would consider peak Star Wars, like the Twin Sons episode with Obi-Wan and Darth Maul, or some of the appearances of Darth Vader were really, really well done, but nothing that really involved the main protagonists I'm in love with. I just, these characters kind of blow. But they are nice action figures. And like I said, I didn't choose to pick up any of the newer ones. These are all the original ones that came out and as far as release date, but they're pretty cool. I did make that display stand myself there. That looks really, really cool. And then I ordered those space crates, basically, are just some 3D printed crates I ordered off, I think, eBay. Maybe Etsy, but I think eBay. And then I painted them myself, and then I threw some of their contraband on top of there, some of their stormtrooper helmets that they procured. And then, guys, I don't know who that fucking space squirrel is. If you know, let me know in the comment section. I mean, I'm not going to take offense if you want to be a bigger nerd than me and tell me what that guy is. I mean, he's cute. I don't know what he is, and I can't even remember what action figure he came with. But anyway, he's back there. He's cool. And then, of course, I got some stormtroopers up on some risers back there. Regular standard stormtrooper, Black Series. I think that's the Tank Commander trooper. I'm not sure. But he's cool. He's really cool. And then there's a Death Trooper down there from, I think, Rogue One. So yeah, looking good. There's a Rebels. Alrighty, moving next door. We got some really, really awesome characters. Maybe not as good of figures, though. That's sort of the trade-off. I'm not a big fan of that Han Solo, that Bespin Han Solo. They could do a lot better. The Hoth Princess Leia is epic, though. That R2-D2 is old and undersized. Luke Skywalker Bespin figure is okay. Lando's kind of meh. These Hoth Rebel Troopers are awesome. That's actually the same figure, but you can basically plug and play with the faces and the masks and stuff and make two different figures, which is really cool. And you can store the extra pieces in their backpacks. That's rad. And then I bought this Wampa, this 1/12 scale Wampa off Etsy, and I know he came with a pack with a Luke Skywalker, but I just got the Wampa loose and didn't pay too much for him. Paid just over $40 about a year ago, but he is rad. That's a great piece. Love that one. Next door, we're going to move a little faster now through this collection because now we're just getting kind of hodgepodgey and I've put less thought into these displays. This is sort of my Heroes of the Rebellion loose kind of thinking shelf. Got that old ass Obi-Wan Kenobi in there. Got some Rogue One love in there. I like that Jen Erso. I think that's the second version of Jen Erso, the second generation Black Series Jen Erso that came out. I like her a lot. She's cool. Luke Skywalker X-Wing gear. Got Mando from season 2, and he's all snowy and shit. That's kind of cool. And they got Luke in the trash compactor, and again another undersized R2-D2, which Hasbro has appropriately redone. I love the new one, but the other ones are so shrimpy now, and they're kind of even hard to display. Talk about figures I could weed out, but he doesn't take up a lot of space, so I guess no harm, no foul. So anyway, yeah, so we're, like I said, we're going to move a little faster now. Coming down here, we got sort of a scum and villainy shelf there. We've got Aura Singh in the corner there. Got Zuckuss and Forlom. Got Hondo Anaka's droid, R5 droid, it's kind of neat, as well as Hondo Anaka's monkey lizard there, Wakinian monkey lizard, or whatever those things are called. Basically, Salacious Crumb species. And then we've got a cool Boba Fett. We've got Han and Kira from Solo. Kira's pretty smoking hot, but yeah, they're okay. Got that cool first appearance Din Djarin Black Series figure, and yeah, Dengar up there as well. So yeah, cool shelf. And then moving again over onto this shelf, another animated series, and this one I actually liked a lot more than Rebels. I love Bad Batch, actually, and I'm still getting through season 3 of Bad Batch at this point on Disney Plus. I haven't gotten all the way through it, but I'm liking it, and I really do love the Bad Batch a lot. So I got the entire Bad Batch crew there from season 1. There's Hunter, Wrecker, Tech, Echo, and Crosshair, and then Omega, and then there's this like fucking weird squirrel thing that he came with. Everything's a fucking squirrel, I guess. But yeah, looking cool. Some of their helmets are there on top of a space crate. Again, I got that space crate online and painted it myself. But yeah, looking cool. And I kind of wanted to do a little more of a diorama for these guys, much like I did for the Rebels crew up here, but I just haven't gotten around to it yet. But I will. But yeah, looking cool. That's a good shelf. Alrighty, guys, and moving next door again, we're just kind of getting into figures on a shelf. I didn't put a lot of thought into this shelf, just kind of a place to put them, and so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it. Obviously, we're getting down to the lower shelf, so these guys are not on my top of my list as far as figures that I own, but I do like them. I really like that Zaxxon Space Bunny, such an awesome homage to the original late 70s, early 80s Marvel comics, Star Wars comics. Just really cool. So yeah, that's rad. Aura Singh's pretty cool too. And Kyle Kestis he's rad. I love his little BD droid on his back. That's cool. I think that one's from Fallen Order. I haven't played either of those games. Both my kids have been on me to play those games, saying I'd love them, but man, I just don't have the attention span to play long video games anymore, man. More of a classic retro video gamer, man. Give me some Pac-Man. Give me something I can play in 5 minutes. I know I'm missing out, but yeah. Anyway, cool. Storage shelves. I wouldn't even call them display shelves. I got two Hoth, Han Solo, and Luke Skywalker. Got my childhood die-cast metal Kenner Millennium Falcon with custom battle damage that I did myself when I was 8 years old. Kind of neat. Definitely a nostalgia trip there. But yeah, not much to talk about. And then we just got some Clone Wars love here on the last shelf. And yeah, again, not much to say. I just sort of just kind of toss those figures down there. And then there's pure storage over here. We're not even going to look at that. We're just going to keep that Return of the Jedi Shadow Box picture that I got from, God, I don't know, deep discount, maybe Ross or something right there. So yeah, that's cool. So yeah, that's my Black Series, guys. I should say that is all my Black Series for now. We'll be coming back to some more Black Series later in the tour. But for right now, let's switch gears and go a little bit of a smaller scale. Let's go down to 3.75 inch scale action figures. And Hasbro's been knocking these out of the park lately, guys. I kind of fell off the wagon of 3.75 inch action figures back in, maybe 2010 or so. and then really kind of stayed off for a long time. But man, these figures these days are just looking so damn awesome. And I know they're a little higher price point, but I just can't help it. I love them a lot. You have a nice Imperial shelf. There's sort of an Imperial Remnant shelf. Got a Remnant Stormtrooper. Got a couple bootleggy 3.75 inch filler Stormtroopers in the back. And then I did pick up that Scout Trooper that they recently came out with. And I think that's the Return of the Jedi. No, that's actually not. That's an older Black Series 3.75 inch Scout Trooper or Scout Walker, I should say, and ATST. But yeah, looking really, really nice. That's a nice shelf there. And then over here, I got the Troop Transport there with some old ass frickin' Power of the Force 2 kind of second gen Stormtroopers. They had the original ones that were really bulky, and then they came out with these guys. And these guys were actually sold in bulk at Wizards of the Coast gaming stores. I don't know if any of you guys are remember Wizards of the Coast. I was never a gamer in like the ilk of like Dungeons and Dragons and shit, and that's what Wizard of the Coast was. But they had an exclusive where they sold these guys in bulk, these Stormtroopers. So anyway, they're all in my tank trooper transport there that I picked up at Best Buy a couple years ago. I think that came out during the Rebels line, but yeah, looking cool. And then over here, I've got my original Power of the Force 2 Rancor. He still holds up after all these years, guys. I love him. With my Power of the Force 2 Rancor Keeper, Power of the Force 2 Bib Fortuna, and then there's maybe that might be a Power of the Jedi Han Solo. He's a little bit of a later incarnation, but still, we're still in the early to mid 2000s on that one. And then there is a solo line version of Lando in there. So I don't know. I think he's cool. He looks pimping. So yeah, that's rad. So coming up, I've got the first of many 3.75 inch dioramas I have sprinkled throughout my collection. I'm just going to get the name out right now. I bought a lot of these. That's actually a cardboard diorama I bought from Cardstock Cantina. You can find them on Etsy if you're interested. They build, they sell, I should say, 3.75 inch and 1/12 or Black Series scale dioramas. They're cardboard, but they come and they're cheap. They're like 15 to 30 bucks each, and they're awesome. They really help your figures pop on a shelf, and they don't take up a lot of space. So yeah, so here we've sort of got a little bit of homage to that one episode in season 2 of The Mandalorian when Din has to actually take off his helmet to interact with the computer station or the computer terminal to find out where Grogu's being held. And of course we got I can't remember his name right now, but Bill Burr's character. But he came out really good in 3.75 inch. Again, 3.75 inch, just killing it with the face sculpts, man. These digital scans are amazing. And then behind him, I've just got a bunch of stock Stormtroopers I recently actually picked up. They're all bootleggy, but they're cool, and they just sort of fill in the ranks. Again, there's much better 3.75 inch Stormtroopers in my collection than those. But again, I can't afford to buy the best 3.75 inch Stormtroopers to go in all my dioramas, so I had to kind of take a little bit of a hit on accuracy and go with some kind of dopey looking ones, but they were cheap. And I don't think they're Hasbro. I think they're bootleg from Asia, but whatever. They're cool. Up above that, we've got some Wampas, 2 different versions of the Wampas. We've got a Saga Wave Wampa, a little bit of dust up there. Sorry for that, guys. Luke Skywalker, Han Solo, and Chewbacca there, sort of looking pretty Hothy, I guess, even though Chewbacca's holding a laser rifle he had on the Death Star in the first film, but whatever. And we've got the I think that's the most recent rendition of the Wampa right there in 3.75 inch. He's kind of waving at you there. Yeah, next to Luke. He's cool. He's a good figure. But anyway, yeah, would like to do more with that shelf and probably should start out by dusting it, but yeah, it looks good. Alrighty guys, next shelf up, just got a nice assortment of figures from across a number of different lines. All, of course, kind of in the prequel Jedi / Sith sort of genre. Yeah, looking really cool. Got that really cool modern Mace Windu. Just do a couple quick shout outs across all these. I'm not going to name all these figures. I really love that Yoda. That's from the Jendy Tartakovsky micro series Clone Wars from 2003. I can't remember the name of the mount he's on, but it's really cool. And then I got Hu Yang up there. That's actually from the Ahsoka series, but I kind of like him more in a Clone Wars role there, training younglings with their lightsabers. And some of those were from the episode 2 line, figure line. And some of those are really modern, including that Anakin there. He's really modern. He just came out in the last couple of years, or last year or so. And then right next to him is an episode 3 figure. I can't remember the name of the character, but was one of the remaining younglings that was killed at the in Order 66 at the Temple, and of course was played by George Lucas's son. So very, very neat. Modern, very, very modern. Season 7 Clone Wars, modern Clone Wars, Darth Maul, and then of course back there, Newt Gunray and Rune Haku, I think, and then the Nemoidian with the Pope hat. I can't remember his name, but he was one of the ambassadors, one of the Trade Federation ambassadors in the Republic Senate. So yeah, that's a great shelf. I like that shelf a lot. And another fantastic shelf is just next door here. Again, sort of a little bit of a hodgepodge. Got some Empire Strikes Back love, got some Clone Wars, got some Mandalorian love. It's all kind of represented in there. It's got some video gaming love in there as well with that Kyle Kestis. That's a great Kyle Kestis. We'll just start there. That's a great 3.75 inch Kyle Kestis with his BD droid. Love that. I love this Lando figure. It's hard to believe this damn Lando was a peg warmer, and still is. And he's awesome. If you see him, get him. Get him. He's great. Lobot's cool too. Really, really nice looking Moff Gideon up there, if the camera's focusing okay for you guys. And that is a nice actual mainline Stormtrooper that I recently picked up. Again, some of these Stormtroopers are just kind of bootleggy filler Stormtroopers. Cool Season 7 Ahsoka there from Clone Wars. Bo-Katan and Axe Wolves, I think. And some dust as well. But yeah, that's a great shelf. I love that shelf a lot. Coming back over here, and we're going to kind of hit these top shelves just real quick so I can get off this step stool. Got some awesome Echo Base Med Center love there, and that's sort of my attempt at doing a diorama for it. Although it's not very good. I've seen people do much better dioramas for this than what I did, but it looks okay. I got that really cool. I think that came out in the Saga, either Saga or Power of the Jedi. That awesome Luke in Bacta tank. That just looks really cool. And then above it, just a real quick break from 3.75, just so I can get off this step stool. I'm literally standing up against the ceiling here, guys, and like I'm 5'6", and I'm not comfortable up here. So we're just going to go through this real fast. Got a really cool Kotobukiya, larger scale plastic or vinyl statue. It's actually falling apart. It's all leaning. The only reason I keep it is because I actually got that delivered to my house when I think my second born was being born. I had to have my good buddy Uncle Pat go pick it up off the doorstep, and the box was trashed, and I don't know, just special memories because he was literally delivered, I think, back in 2008 when my second son was being born. So that's kind of cool. That's a Revell mini helmet Darth Vader. I think they sold those in the late 90s. Really cool. A little more of a modern Kotobukiya set there with Vader and Boba Fett. That's a candy jar Darth Vader. There was hard candy in there. I ate it. Force Unleashed Padme. No reason to have her up. She's just, well, you can see. Got a Metacom Boba Fett. That's one of the first premium Boba Fett figures I ever bought, but he has been kind of relegated up here with those Hasbro figures, that Hasbro 12-inch or 1/6 scale IG-88, and Zuckuss back there looking cool. And that's another Force Unleashed figure. That's Bosk, of course. So anyway, that's that shelf real fast. We'll get right back to 3.75 inch, but I just wanted to show that off while I'm up here.
59, 79, 99.
There's a couple more shelves to go here on this 3.75 inch display. Again, that backdrop is courtesy of Cardstock Cantina on Etsy if you're interested. But anyway, I've got a nice little Emperor kind of Emperor's entourage kind of going on there. That Emperor is actually very modern. And then of course I got the two Imperial dignitaries. I think those are both from maybe the late 2000s. I can't remember which line they came out in. Might have been post Revenge of the Sith, but I just can't remember. But I do know all those Royal Guards all came out of the Revenge of the Sith line from 2005. Yeah, guys, do forgive me. The years are starting to grow more and more, and I can't remember when I bought certain things. Again, we're talking 45 years of collecting here, guys. So yeah, cut me some slack. Moving down to the next shelf, sort of got a Jawa looking shelf there with the Jawas and a bunch of droid junk and some functioning droids. I got awesome R5D4. That's actually from the season 3 of Mandalorian. That's where he came from, but I love him. Got a beat up IG droid back there. But yeah, looking cool. Chopper looks like he's fallen into some bad hands there. He's hanging out with the Jawas, unfortunately for him. That's like a busted up C-3PO that came, I think, with Chewbacca maybe from Empire Strikes Back, but I threw him in there. Got a lot of parts in there from just other Build-A-Droids and things like that, just to kind of make it look pretty cool. Got an old Power of the Force 2 Death Star droid hanging out back there. Got an awesome standard Gonk droid there. Got another Gonk droid over here. This yellow big boss droid back there, can't remember his name, but he comes from Galaxy's Edge at the Droid Depot there, and he is actually at the Droid Depot at Galaxy's Edge, so he's really cool. I think he actually was out in episode 7 too, but again, we won't hold that against him. And then got another R5 droid in there. I can't remember his designation, but again, looking really cool. It's a nice looking shelf. And then one more moving over here. Got two more actually, sorry, two more. I love this shelf a lot. This is just sort of my homage to the escape on the Death Star, and that is actually a Power of the Force 2 from 1995 or 1996. Death Star, Escape from the Death Star diorama there, or the Death Star detention area diorama there with Luke, Han, and Princess Leia and Chewbacca, all in their Luke and Han in their stormtrooper disguises, looking really cool. And these are both pretty modern releases of both those figures. That Princess Leia came in the early bird set, the kind of the nouveau, I don't know, early bird set that they did in 2005 with the release of Revenge of the Sith, I want to say. They did sort of a representation of the original 1978 early bird set in 2005. So she came from that. There was another Luke in that set with a Farm Boy Luke with a slider lightsaber, and there was a Chewie in there as well. But yeah, looking cool. And then I've just got C-3PO and R2-D2 down there. It's a little bit more of a modern C-3PO. I think that might actually be the Ewok C-3PO from Return of the Jedi. He came with the chair, but I have him in there. And then that is actually a Power of the Force 2 first line R2-D2 from 1995. So yeah, again, a lot of variety in there and as far as release dates, but really good shelf. And then down here, I've got Jabba the Hutt. This was the Jabba the Hutt, I think, released in 2010 with the Ula and the Salacious Crumb, and that is a very modern Bib Fortuna. I will be getting the new Jabba that is coming from Hasbro Pulse that will be moving into my Bib Fortuna Party Palace, which I'll show you guys in a little bit. But for right now, there's just a Jabba hanging out here on a shelf. So anyway, backing up, guys, and you guys can see the whole shelf one more time, just kind of like, don't forget the glass cleaner. I actually was dusting as I was shooting. But yeah, there is the entire shelf there as it looks with that Black Series collection I just showed you, except that Diet Coke can's not supposed to be there, nor is that glass cleaner. Anyway, guys, let's keep going. Let's keep going.
Alrighty guys, so after that break from looking at 1/12 scale figures, we're back into it, and one last look at that awesome SH Figuarts Return of the Jedi Luke Skywalker, and a first look now at my Mandalorian 1/12 scale SH Figuarts Luke Skywalker, and that is really awesome. That is the backdrop once again was from Cardstock Cantina off Etsy, and I've got Mandalorian Season 2 SH Figuarts Luke Skywalker and SH Figuarts R2-D2, regular Grogu. I'm not sure where that one came from. Anyway, battling off against a number of Black Series Dark Troopers. So looking really freaking awesome. There's a battle damaged Stormtrooper there who was the first to go to meet Luke Skywalker's wrath. But anyway, I love this setup a lot. Shown it off a lot of times here on the channel. Nothing you guys haven't seen before if you're a longtime viewer, subscriber. But again, I dig this one a lot. And then sharing that shelf is another awesome Luke Skywalker centric diorama there. I think that is actually the Black Series version of the Mandalorian Season 2 Luke Skywalker, lined up there with a couple the Gaming Greats Scout Trooper. I think that actually might be the Tank Commander Stormtrooper. I think I misspoke earlier. But anyway, with a with a Han Solo in the background, it's always good to have friends who are Jedi Knights, and Han Solo certainly is taking advantage of the situation there. So yeah, that's really rad. I like that one a lot. Alrighty guys, so moving up from those two dioramas, I have yet another 1/12 scale diorama up here. This one is one I made myself, and the idea behind it was sort of a pre-ceremonial Yavin 4 diorama with Luke Skywalker there. That is a SH Figuarts Farm Boy Luke Skywalker with an SH Figuarts Han Solo, an SH Figuarts R2-D2. That is a Mafex C-3PO, and that is a freaking awesome C-3PO. And I actually think he's pretty marked down at Big Bad Toy Store right now. I've seen him go for pretty cheap over there. If you're interested in procuring one for your collection, I think he's pretty reasonably priced right now. That's a Black Series Chewbacca, and that, of course, is a Black Series Ceremonial Princess Leia, which is actually a really nice Black Series figure. But anyway, I did, as I mentioned, I did build the diorama backdrop there myself using insulation foam. There's some floral foam in there, as you guys are going to see, and just to kind of give that natural rock look to the kind of the rock intruding upon the temple there as it's aging. And of course there's some Spanish moss in there to give it some little bit of a jungle vine kind of look thing. And then of course there is some 3D printed space crates in there that I painted myself after ordering those off Amazon. So yeah, looking really, really nice. And that Star Wars light I think I picked up off Amazon, I think. Anyway, it's cool. It's a nice little LED little box light, and it looks absolutely fantastic. So that's a great diorama.
I'm not afraid.
You will be. You will.
Guys, and coming up yet another shelf, and bam, we're back into 3.75-inch figures. Now you guys are going to see throughout the collection, as I've mentioned earlier in the video, that the scaling of my collection varies from place to place, and it's all pretty mixed in. Anyway, I've got this awesome Rancor. That's a Felucian Rancor, I think, that came out in the 30th anniversary collection. I think this one was for the Force Unleashed video game, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, that's a really, really rad looking war Rancor there with war paint all over it. And it's doing a pretty good job fighting off all these original Power of the Force 2 chunky stormtroopers. Even those guys being all buff and stuff are no match for that giant ass Rancor. So yeah, that's a really sweet looking display. And then moving over here, we've got a little bit more of a modern ATSD. That's the Return of the Jedi ATSD, actually, that came with the Chewbacca. It's got some indoor weathering on it and whatnot, but in this case it's definitely still in the hands of the evil Galactic Empire. And then I've got that awesome Stormtrooper there. That's a really, really nice Stormtrooper with the Web Blaster cannon there, WEB blaster cannon there, looking really, really rad, with the ATSD driver kind of in command there. So yeah, that's a really, really nice set. And then there's also some bootleggy stormtroopers filling out the ranks there in the back. But yeah, I love that ATSD a lot. That is really, really cool. Alrighty guys, and just adjacent to that over here, we are still in 3.75-inch scale, and I've got my Legacy AT-AT Walker. I gave a review on this piece a long time ago, but it is absolutely one of my favorite ones. You can actually see the AT-AT driver in there through that red lens. It's just really, really cool. Great piece. This is like the ultimate 3.75-inch AT-AT that they've made over the years. Far superior to both the Kenner as well as the Power of the Force 2 offerings of this vehicle. So yeah, really, really awesome. And then of course down from it, just to give a nice display, I've got in box the Atari 2600 Star Wars The Empire Strikes Back video game. It's really, really rad. So anyway, this is a nice looking setup here. I dig this one a lot, and really complements what I have going on there with that ATSD. So alrighty guys, and then moving down yet another shelf here. Definitely got an homage here to the first appearance of Luke Skywalker in the film Return of the Jedi, really anchored by my Return of the Jedi storybook, which is framed now, but actually that was my original Return of the Jedi storybook that I got in the spring of 1983, I believe around April. It was at least a month or two before the release of the film. Got it via a Scholastic book order for my first grade class, and getting that thing in my hot little hands back then was just amazing. You had no idea what the film was about. You knew nothing about it outside of what was on those pages, all those awesome production stills on those pages. It just was mind-blowing to me at the young age of 7 years old, getting that in my hands before the film was even released. And that's a very, very huge Star Wars memory for me. And then of course flanking it, I've got a Black Series Return of the Jedi Walmart exclusive Luke Skywalker. I've got a Gentle Giant bust there, and I've got the most recent offering of Jabba's skiff in there with Luke Skywalker and various other characters. Not exactly a film accurate representation of who was on Luke, Han, and Chewie and Lando's skiff in the film, but still looks really, really cool. So that's rad. And then I've got that Luke Skywalker little 3D printed sign there that I picked up off Etsy as well. Oh, and there's a EFX metal hilt Luke Skywalker lightsaber in there as well.
There's nothing to see. I used to live here, you know.
You're gonna die here. Convenient.
Just stick close to Chewie and Lando. Taking care of everything.
Oh, great.
Guys, moving over to the next shelf, and again, we are entirely in 3.75-inch figures on this shelf, and these are almost all of this shelf is dominated with cardstock Cantina cardboard backdrops, and they absolutely look absolutely fantastic, as I mentioned earlier in the video, especially in the way you can really deck out small areas of your shelving with them. Not that I'm sponsored by them or anything, I just really do like their product. First up, we got this awesome Echo-based diorama there with Han Solo about to go and try to find Luke Skywalker on the frozen wastes in the horrible blizzard there, and him getting prepped on his tauntaun there, looking absolutely awesome. And then next over from that, we've got sort of a meeting of the minds there, a lot of evil scheming going on over here with
Darth Vader and the Emperor checking in on some of the higher-ups of the evil Galactic Empire, including Director Krennic, and there's a Grand Moff Tarkin back there, a rather young-looking Grand Moff Tarkin. He's actually from Episode 3. But we've got Captain Nita and Admiral Piet and others in there with a R5, an Imperial R5 kind of tooting along there in the foreground, but that's a really nice little diorama. And then up here, this is one of my favorites. Basically, it's a Coruscanti nightclub, and you've got a lot of scum and villainy up here. Just kind of, you know, scheming and making backdoor deals and just selling death sticks and all kinds of cool shit. It's got some dancers in there flirting as well, some nightclub patrons and just people chilling out and having drinks after work. And then of course you've got Princess Leia there. That's a Shadows of the Empire Princess Leia with a 30th anniversary Lando Calrissian in from the end of Empire Strikes Back. They're kind of wearing Han Solo's clothes, which is really, really cool. Making a deal with Prince Izor there, trying to figure out where Boba Fett has taken Han Solo frozen in carbonite. So that's really, really cool. And then again, we've just got more backdoor deals going on here. Got a Coruscanti security guard there. That's actually Ahmed Best from Episode 2, but he looks really, really cool. And then we've got the lead performer from the Mos Eisley Cantina. They're doing a solo act, as you guys can see, because he's billed. He's the first billing there, and he's performing there, and a lot of people are enjoying him. And it looks like we've got the server droid Dax, Dax's Diner. We've got the server droid on Lend there, so she's really cool as well. So moving up to the next shelf here, sort of a minimalist approach on this shelf. There's no backdrops here whatsoever, just some figures on a shelf, but a really, really nicely themed shelf. If I can toot my own horn a little bit. Just basically got some Clone Wars figures on here, and there's some Episode 2 figures mixed in here and Episode 3 figures as well. But I've got animated Captain Rex and Commander Cody in there. Clone Wars versions of Obi-Wan and Anakin looking really, really cool. I like that Yoda a lot. That's a great looking Yoda. And of course that Padme is a Episode 2 Padme, I think from the Lars Homestead. Got a Utapus clone trooper in there, some Phase 1 clone troopers and Phase 2 clone troopers. Got an ARC trooper, really, really cool. That's a great figure. But yeah, guys, just a nice, just a nice mix of some mainline Jedi there with Obi-Wan and Anakin and Yoda, and then just a lot of cool clone trooper love in there. Yeah, some nice Phase 1 clone troopers. I love that look a lot. Yeah, really, really cool. So that's a great looking shelf. I like this one a lot. And then coming up another shelf, we've got the Mandalorian Season 2 3.75 inch scale Luke Skywalker, and he's on a Imperial cruiser there getting some guidance from his master, Spirit Obi-Wan there. It's looking really, really cool. And then over here we've got the Naboo reaction chamber with Obi-Wan, young Obi-Wan, Padawan Obi-Wan, Qui-Gon Jinn dueling off with Darth Maul there in the reactor chamber at Naboo. And then up here we've just got some more, just kind of a hodgepodge of some figures in there. That's a really cool man-to-man figure. A cool looking Reese in there as well. I think that's Captain Tarpals back there, the Wookiee, with that ASP droid from the special edition of A New Hope, looking cool. And then over here we've got Luke Skywalker, Han Solo, and General Lando Calrissian Num, the droids, having a conference there with some senior Alliance members there, no doubt planning their next awesome mission. But yeah, that's kind of fun, and with a cool little backdrop, the computer terminal backdrop that I got offline. And then up here we've just got Episode 1 Obi-Wan dueling off with some battle droids, and then there's Yoda in there as well from the Clone Wars. Sorry, it's really high up there, so I'm having a hard time getting the camera up there, with the turbo tank from Episode 1. So yeah, that's really, really cool. A lot of battle droid love in that one as well. So love the prequel stuff. So yeah, looking good. Alrighty guys, so that is that shelf coming all the way down here, and we're still in 3.75 inch love, but now we're kind of moving over a little bit to some original 1983 vintage love, and this of course is the Imperial Attack base from Kenner from I believe 1980 or 1981. Really, really cool piece. Had this as a child, but this is not the original one I had as a child. I picked this up just a couple years ago off eBay for a really good price, and I really dig that a lot. Although some of the figures I did have as a child, like that AT-AT driver, was my childhood AT-AT driver. And as well as that General Veers or AT-AT Commander figure. He was from my childhood. The rest I picked up later on. I actually think that Vader is a new Kenner or Hasbro re-release or retro release, but really, really cool. But they are being towered over by my childhood AT-AT Walker. So I'm knocking stuff over here, guys. But anyway, that is my childhood AT-AT Walker, looking really, really awesome. I did get some repro stickers on it a few years ago to kind of outfit it out, and I think those chin guns are actually repro as well. But the rest of it is from my childhood, my authentic AT-AT Walker, looking absolutely awesome and stunning back there. So yeah, that's a really nice setup. And behind it, looming behind it, is an original artwork by my good buddy, Uncle Pat. If you're a longtime viewer subscriber, you may have seen Uncle Pat in some of my videos and live streams. And yes, he did draw this or paint this for me. Alrighty guys, well next up guys, we are going into Hot Toys and Sideshow collectibles territory. These are the first premium, really premium items on the tour here tonight. And yeah, these are two new details. Well, I shouldn't say new. I set them up about a year ago, and I think they were in last year's room tour, maybe the year before that, so maybe not new at all. But anyway, these are my newer details anyway here in the collection, and there's a lot of cool shit. Alrighty guys, so just going shelf by shelf up here. I'm going to start out on the top shelf with my Clone Wars 1/6 scale figures. These are done by Sideshow Collectibles in that really cool and iconic Clone Wars animation stylization. And I also picked up a Clone Wars 3D printed logo off Etsy to kind of go along with these three. Of course, I've got Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Yoda up there. So yeah, those are pretty rad. And then moving over to the next detail shelf, I'm just going to go across here and down. I've got the Season 7 realistic version of Darth Maul, the Season 2 part of the Season 2 Boba Fett 2-pack there with him and his armor. That looking really cool. Season 2, I mean, of The Mandalorian, of course. And Jango Fett's in there as well. Now, all these are, of course, Hot Toy figures. So, yeah, those are looking pretty rad. So anyway guys, moving down to the next shelf here, again, we got two Hot Toys figures in here. I've got the chrome version of Din Djarin with Grogu in a sack. And I went with the, I think this would be the collector version versus the deluxe version. The deluxe version came with a big giant hobo stick and a bunch of other accessories. And if you're a long-time viewer subscriber, you may know that I'm not the biggest fan of over-accessorizing my figures, because a lot of times it's just a bunch of shit I'm going to put in a box. So, you know, kind of like screw that. And then also in there, I've got an Ahsoka Tano figure in there. That is Ahsoka Tano from Season 2 of The Mandalorian, and that is the only Ahsoka Tano figure that I currently have on order. I didn't pick up any of the offerings from the Ahsoka series. Just wasn't that into it. But I like this version of her, and I think it's a pretty cool looking figure. And then moving over here, guys. Yeah, I've got some awesome diorama love in here. That's a diorama that I made myself out of some, again, out of insulation foam and Star Wars inspired things that I got off Etsy and things like that. But yeah, looking really cool. I've got the IG-11 in there that with the bucket that came with the Quill figure, as well as an old Sideshow Collectibles creature pack from way back in the Scum and Villainy collection. If you're a longtime collector, you might know a thing or two about that. I've got the part of the Grogu accessory pack in there, and that's a Sideshow, not a Hot Toys. That's a Sideshow Collectibles R5D4 there in the background. So kind of liked that. I just kind of wanted to do something a little bit different with my IG-11. Him doing some domestic tasks and just being a friendly, kinder, gentler assassin droid. I just kind of like that. I mean, anyone can throw guns all over figures. Sometimes I like having stuff in sort of a candid pose and sort of just a sort of a slice of life kind of thing with some of my collectibles and some of the ways I like to pose them. So yeah, I think that looks good. Alrighty guys, and speaking of dioramas, this was one of my favorite dioramas. Of course, is Luke Skywalker. That's a Sideshow Collectibles Deluxe Return of the Jedi Luke Skywalker that I've kind of sort of trying to have as a fill-in there for a Mandalorian or Jedi Academy Luke Skywalker there from
really from the Book of Boba Fett. But anyway, I've got Grogu there in a backpack. That backpack is actually a Hasbro 12-inch or 1/6 scale backpack that came with an old Empire Strikes Back Luke and Yoda 2-pack, but looking really cool. And then part of that Grogu accessory pack in there, I've got a Loth cat kind of chilling out there on a rock there right next to that stream bed there. Of course, we're on that planet that Luke was setting up his Jedi Academy, and I cannot remember the name of it, but anyway, that's kind of what it was. This diorama was inspired by, with a lot of the large bamboo stems there coming out of the ground. And of course, we've got a nice creek bed there with just a plethora of those space frogs, and those space frogs are from really all scales, 1/6 scale and 1/12 scale, and even 3.75 inch as well. But you know, they're all different size frogs, and they all work. So yeah, this is one of my favorite dioramas. I did this about a year ago, and I showcased it on the channel back then. Alrighty guys, and coming over here, we have got my 1/6 scale, one of my 1/6, actually I have two of these figures, one of my 1/6 scale Mandalorian Season 2 season finale Luke Skywalker, and he actually has a CCFL lightsaber there, courtesy of Chris DeGuzman. I'm sure if you're a longtime viewer, subscriber, you've heard me talk about Chris's work a lot, and a lot of other YouTubers have probably talked about him as well. Love Chris DeGuzman's work with creating CCFL lightsabers. They're just really epic, and really better than anything Hot Toys or Sideshow has come out with even to date. Absolutely amazing work. But anyway, I've got the diorama set up there that the Luke came with sort of the Imperial Cruiser blast doors there. That's a Bandai Soul Jogoken, I believe that's how you pronounce that, 1/6 scale R2-D2 back there. And then I also have two, well really 1.5, but those are Dark Troopers, and the battle damage version actually put the legs on from the regular version, and they put the regular version on the ground there. So they look battle damaged and beat up and destroyed. And of course there's Grogu looking on, but I love that setup a lot. That is really rad. And that's really the apex of Luke Skywalker there, just looking awesome. And down to the bottom shelf here, guys. We're kind of cruising along here, but that's okay. I've got really just some more Mandalorian series love here with Moff Gideon with the Darksaber there, and then two troopers. I think that's the Heavy Infantry Trooper, if I'm not mistaken, the yellow one with the ground placement mortar thing. And then there, of course, is the Flame Trooper in there as well, or as I just call them, the Ketchup and Mustard Troopers. But yeah, those are really cool. Anytime I can add Imperial Stormtrooper variants to my collection, I usually jump on it. A lot of people are into clone troopers. I'm really more into Imperial Stormtroopers. So yeah, I do love collecting different variants when I can. I don't get them all, but when I can, I definitely am down to, you know, add another Stormtrooper to my collection. But anyway, those are really rad, and that Moff Gideon is a fantastic figure. And finally, rounding out this shelf, guys, I've got Boba Fett on the throne there from the Book of Boba Fett, and I went with the sort of a unmasked version, I guess you would say, just because I wanted to have just sort of the distinction of Tamara Morrison as Boba Fett with the Tamara Morrison as Jango Fett I have in the upper shelf that I just showed you guys just a moment ago. And I just like having that distinction in there. I love Tamara Morrison. I think he's done a great job as not only Boba Fett, but as Jango Fett, and, you know, going back to episode 2 back in 2002, and even, you know, as Clone Troopers, he's shown up in the various Disney series. I don't know, I love Tamara Morrison, I love his work, and I'm happy to have him very well represented here in the Plastic Planet here in my Star Wars display. Alright guys, next up we got Yoda's Hut from Sideshow Collectibles, 1/6 scale. I've showed this piece off in every single room tour I've ever done here on the Plastic Planet, and even ones I did before I was doing room tours on the Plastic Planet, when I was just showing off my collection on the Sideshow Freaks forums back in the late 2000s and 2000 teens, I guess it might be. But anyway, yeah, so this piece has been around, and I've had it a long time. Hard to believe I only spent $300 on it back in the day. It's an amazing piece. Takes up quite a bit of space, but man, it's worth it. Very iconic and very awesome. That's a Sideshow Collectibles Yoda out front there, and then on the back side you can see the inside of the hut, and it is just absolutely amazing with that
that flickering fire, and that's an old Sideshow Collectibles Luke Skywalker in there, sitting by the fire. Again, just really cool. Yeah, not much to say, and I'm not going to spend a lot of calories here, but yeah, it's awesome.
I'm not afraid.
Sure. You will be. You will be.
Alright, you guys, and moving away from Yoda's hut there, and moving over here to my refrigerator. That's my micro fridge there, some cool stickers and magnets and whatnot. That's where I keep all my delicious Diet Cokes. And on top of that, I've got lots of more collectibles, guys. I've got the Sideshow Collectibles 1/1 scale Grogu, or the child as it was marketed at the time. This is a piece, I think I picked up this last year. I think it was on a BOGO sale or some shit. I can't remember, but I got it on sale and threw some rewards points at it as well, and I paid almost next to nothing for it. So he is really cool. I did get him despite already having the Hot Toys version of the 1/1 scale Grogu, which we'll see later here in the tour. But yeah, he's awesome. I can't get enough Grogu, guys. Personally, I kind of dig that little shit. And right next to him is a 12-inch 1/6 scale, whatever measurement you want to use there. 1978 Kenner Luke Skywalker. The pants and boots are original. However, the belt and the tunic, I think that's what that is, or is basically his shirt, is actually more of a modern Hasbro / Kenner 12-inch or 12-inch or 1/6 scale shirt from another Luke Skywalker that I just slapped on there because I got him off eBay and he was shirtless, so yeah, I had to correct that. Behind him, I've got a just a picture frame there loaded up with all kinds of cool looking Star Wars pictures that just rotate through. And next to that, I've got the Cobot, or the Coca-Cola robot as it is known. That's a remote control marketing deal from the 1970s, and his box is actually here. I've got the original box for it too somewhere. But anyway, it was a remote control from the late 70s, early 80s. A little marketing thing Coca-Cola did, trying to piggyback off the success of Star Wars and obviously the popularity of R2-D2, so that's kind of neat. A little bit of a cutesy collectible shelf up here. That's a Kenobi series, sort of weird looking plushy Darth Vader. And then I've also got Luke Skywalker and Grogu there. That's from that, I can't remember the line specifically, but it's more of a play school line. It's actually really cute. But anyway, you can see Luke and Grogu in the X-Wing there, looking kind of cool. And then there's Grogu there fishing a egg out of that tub. Oh, and speaking of vintage, I've got my 1978 Chewbacca with bandolier back there. Picked that up off eBay a few years ago. And a cool lightsaber, basically nightlight, I guess it would be. Picked that up at Target for like $40. It's kind of rad. And then up here I've got a model kit X-Wing fighter, again from that same play school or preschool line. I've got IG-11 and Grogu there on the speeder bike. I've got the remote control, speaking of remote control, 1970s goodness, I've got the remote control R2-D2 up there next to the creator himself, George Lucas, on card. Got that action figure from my good buddy Ginty. Thanks again, Mike, for that one. And then up above there I've got a Tusken Raider mask, a Bear Bricks, I think they're called. Sand Trooper. I actually gave that to my kid years ago, and he just decided he didn't want it anymore and was going to donate it. And I said, hell no, we're going to keep that in the Plastic Planet. Alrighty, and finally all the way almost up to the ceiling, guys. I've had to stop the video and get myself a step ladder to get up here. But I've got the 1999 Portrait Edition of Queen Amidala there. That's really beautiful. I actually have a third-party 1/6 version of Queen Amidala supposedly coming. Ordered it from sort of a offbeat collectible store out of Florida. Hopefully I get it, and I'll keep you guys posted on that. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. But this is actually a really good piece as well, and I'll always keep her in the package. I've got Princess Leia's childhood droid Lola there from the Kenobi series. That's a smaller version. I've got a bigger version in the collection. You guys will see in a little bit. And then, of course, I've got the VHS, the final Star Wars film I ever bought on VHS, The Phantom Menace there. Looking kind of cool. So yeah, that's kind of a nice little shelf as well. Over here, I got the Power of the Force 2 A-Wing fighter hanging up here. Bought that back in 1998, I want to say. So it's been with me for a very, very long time, almost 24 years now. But still a great piece, still holds up. Great looking mold on that one. I think it's based off the original mold from the Droids TV series back in 1985, and they just re-released it. What would have been only a mere 13 years later,
in 1998, and yeah, it still holds up today in 2024. Great piece. I love that one. You kind of have to look, but if you peer back behind my lightsaber there, I've got a, well, first off, I got a cool episode 3 jigsaw puzzle, but more importantly, I've got 3 Sideshow figures back there, kind of hiding. Might need to get them in a more prominent position in the collection, although they have been in prominent positions in the past, I guess. I've got Echo and Fives. Those were clone troopers, obviously. They came in a 2-pack, and then right in the middle there is Kit Fisto from Sideshow Collectibles. So some 3 really, really nice Sideshow figures there. And check it out, just kind of random here, guys. I've got Obi-Wan Kenobi in a pretty precarious position there with his boga hunting General Grievous, and got a little sidetracked, obviously, but yeah, that's fun. I don't know, that's just kind of hanging there. It really wasn't intended that way. It just kind of fell over, and I haven't fixed it, but it looks kind of funny. And moving over, we've got a Coda Pakia Yoda. I think my good buddy Uncle Pat got that for me as a groomsman gift for, I think, his first wedding. So that's kind of cool. Got a little cobweb on there. But yeah, looking rad. Alright guys, so coming up next, I've got my Atari Arcade 1-Up Star Wars video game cabinet. Has 3 classic arcade Star Wars games, including the original Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi. Star Wars, of course, is my favorite on here. I absolutely love this vector-based game. It's just absolutely awesome. It's a classic. I remember playing it for the first time back in the early to mid-'80s at an arcade. Actually, it wasn't even an arcade. It was in the lobby of a ski resort up in Eldora, Colorado. But anyway, yeah, the things you remember, 40 years later almost now. But yeah, this was absolutely awesome. Love this cabinet a lot. Play it all the time, actually, and this is the first time I've actually had it up here in the Plastic Planet. It's usually what has been kept downstairs in the arcade/archive room, but I brought it up here in the last year just because I felt like it just kind of needed to be up here with the rest of my Star Wars shit, and yeah, I'm really happy with it up here. It's cool. It takes up a lot of space, but it's really cool. Alrighty guys, so moving up from my Star Wars Arcade 1-Up cabinet up here onto what would be the top of my fireplace, but of course it's cabinet and another shelf I'm going to show you guys in a minute. It's actually blocking my fireplace, and that's okay. I have a couple of nice items up here. This is sort of my Grogu 1/6 scale preserve I have just sort of thrown together up here for no other reason. Just I have too many Grogus and not enough places and displays to put them in. So these two sitting in their respective prams from throughout Mandalorian Season 1 and 2 are hanging out up here. Right below my awesome Mandalorian Remnant Scout Trooper and Speeder Bike. That's a great looking piece. I think I picked this up about 2 years ago, so he might have been in my last year's collection, but still a really awesome piece. This is the first time I've had him over here above my fireplace, right next to what is really one of my most iconic pieces in the entire collection, and that is this 1/6 scale Sideshow Collectibles Dewback with Sideshow Collectibles Imperial Sergeant on top of there. I've got a new Hot Toys Imperial Sergeant coming that's going to go with these guys. I'm paying on it right now whenever that decides to ship from Hot Toys. So that'll be cool to add over here. But yeah, I do love this Dewback a lot. I didn't actually pick up the new Hot Toys Dewback just because I still love this one so much, and honestly, I'm running out of room, so it is what it is. Right next to him is my Sideshow Collectibles Imperial Probe Droid, or Probot. Again, really nice piece. This was the second version that they came out of this particular figure, or second run, I should say, of it. The first one had a really cool snow stand on it, where this one just sort of has like a metallic half dome, which is okay. I've said in previous videos, I keep meaning to get an acrylic rod to use as a display stand there, because I've always felt that that black rod is a little distracting from the rest of the piece. It looks like it's a part of the probe droid as opposed to something that's just supposed to be holding it up as it's levitating. But nevertheless, still a great piece. Lights up and shit. Alrighty guys, and moving down is that second shelf I just mentioned that's sitting in front of my fireplace with a couple of blurgs on them. Yeah, because 2 blurgs are better than 1. I've got the original version of Din Djarin there sitting on this blurg right here, and those 2 actually came as a 2-pack. In addition to that, I've got Quill on top of his respective blur, and those 2 also came as a 2-pack but I actually bought mine separately. I'd gotten the quill, and then later on found the blurg with no intention of buying it, but I found it at a local comic book store for a really good price over a weekend sale, so I picked that up. And of course, Quill there is carrying precious baby Grogu there in his travel blankie, so yeah, that's pretty rad. And then over here, guys, I've got the Mythos Boba Fett. Again, this is just sort of headcanon-y looking display. There's, you know, obviously no on-screen accuracy going on here with Boba Fett present in this, but I thought it looked kind of cool to have that awesome Mythos Boba Fett in this particular sort of pseudo 1/6 scale diorama. I mean, if you're going to have it's sort of in the spirit of the Mythos Boba Fett. It's all kind of headcanon-y and awesome. So, yeah. So, anyway, this is a really, really nice setup. I actually did that display base myself, just out of some foam core and lots of sand and Mod Podge and all kinds of goopy, crafty stuff. But, yeah, looking cool. Alrighty guys, moving down to the next shelf. Sorry, that light in there plays a little bit of havoc with the camera, but it looks really good in person. I have my Tatooine shelf, and again, we're back into 1/12 scale Black Series. Like I said, my collection tends to be sort of, I don't know, I like to think of it as kind of organized chaos, because everything is, you know, basically, you know, set up around, you know, different scales and everything, but I don't really intermix. But again, this is a little island here of a 1/12 scale Black Series figures, all Tatooine themed, as you guys can probably see in there. Got a lot of different figures from different films and TV shows, and well, there's my big 1/12 scale Jabba the Hutt and Bib Fortuna in there, and of course our rebels plotting to free Han Solo from the clutches of the vile gangster Jabba the Hutt. I've got two different black chrysanthemums in there. There's the show version of him as well as the comic book version over here. I've got Ponda Baba and Dr. Vader looking really, really menacing and cool. I love those two. That would be a cool Disney show, I think, and yeah, that'd be rad. Got some Jawas, got two different R5s in there. Both of those are, of course, Hasbro Black Series, but the new upscaled version of him. There's a clean R5 there with Mando, and then there is a weathered version that I kind of roughed up a little bit with the Jawas here, more of an episode 4 version. But yeah, looking cool. I like this shelf a lot. This is just fun. Again, little homage to some Tatooine love in there. But yeah, looking great. Alrighty guys, and then just down below that, this is sort of a throwaway shelf right now, honestly. It's kind of balls, but I've got just a little bit of a Lars Homestead / Tatooine. There's some Tusken Raider. That is one of the best banthas ever done, and that's from the Power of the Force 2 era. You can't say that often about Star Wars collectibles, that the best representation of a certain item is, at least mainstream representation of a certain item is from the Power of the Force 2, but that's definitely the case with the bantha. I love that piece so much, and that's a later release of the Land Speeder, and then the Lars Homestead. Yeah, that's rad, but it's just sort of a, I don't know, man, this is sort of a throwaway shelf right now. It's a bottom shelf. Bottom shelves are always the worst in a collection. I need to get some lighting down there and maybe do something more with this and make it look cooler, because right now I'm not real happy with it.
You'll discover a mountain of taste when you try the cool and crunchy Dairy Queen Peanut Buster Parfait.
Fuck yeah, they do. Alright, guys, let's just keep going on this odyssey of awesomeness through my Star Wars collection room. Oh, check it out, man. I got Salacious Crumb chilling up here. That is the Salacious Crumb from the Galaxy's Edge. It's actually a hand puppet there, and he's really fun. And then we're going to be moving around the corner here, guys. Around the corner, I got a big light in the way. Got some cool pictures on the wall, including an activity book I framed up for my childhood that, you know, I sparingly used.
Just still looks great. I love the product design on that. There's a little knickknack there with this Millennium Falcon. I was 6 years old at Christmas time there. I got my Denver Broncos robe, a Dallas Cowboy jammies, and my Millennium Falcon. I had it all back then. Pretty cool. And then moving down here, just got some cool postcards that were released around the time of the special edition. Those are really, really old. Picked those up probably 20 years ago, 20 plus years ago. Got some patches from the old Hyperdrive fan club from Lucasfilm back way before the Disney bought it. But yeah, looking cool. Got some droids. Droids in 3.75 inch Clone Wars stylized R2-D2 and C-3PO. I love those figures a lot. Those are really, really cool. Alrighty guys, just to pull back for 1 second and just give you guys sort of a little bit of an awareness of where we are here in the collection. We're going to be going through this entire corner over here. Again, a lot of mixed medium in as far as vintage and modern 3.75 inch. Got some premium in here as well, some Hot Toys, and then a lot of vintage and neo-vintage figures, and then some more Sideshow and even Hasbro 12-inch or 1/6 scale figures up here as well. So let's get at it, guys. This is going to be awesome. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. And before I get into that, here is my kind of cheesy 1/1 scale Yoda I bought like 20 years ago. I think he was made in someone's basement, but he's really cool. He used to have a really cool neon light up lightsaber. That's long broken, but here he is. He's looking pretty cool. I mean, I could have done much better for a 1/1 scale Yoda, but he's got some character and he's been with me a long time. So. And just a few more pieces on the wall here. I've got an original Return of the Jedi issue number 4 in the 4 limited series of the original adaptation, comic book adaptation of Return of the Jedi from 1983, 1984. And then down here, I have the full novelization that I got, the full graphic novel I got as a kid, actually. I've had that since probably 1984, 1985 maybe. The full novelization or graphic novelization of Return of the Jedi there framed up. Again, that one is from my childhood. I've had that many, many moons. And then coming over here, guys, wow, I've got my 1995. This is my 1995 Power of the Force 2 Millennium Falcon. I've had it since 1996, 1997. But yeah, it still looks really, really great. It's weird that is now almost 30 years old in and of itself. Pretty cool. And inside of it, I've got some vintage love, including Chewbacca. That is my vintage C-3PO from my childhood. That is a vintage Han Solo in Bespin fatigues or Bespin gear, and a Princess Leia in her Bespin gown. Those are both vintage. However, I bought those later on. Those are not from my childhood. That was, saved from someone else's childhood, but they look great. But the C-3PO is from my childhood in that 1995 Millennium Falcon that I got in college. So yeah, I've had that a long time as well. Then moving over to the next shelf, guys. Yeah, I've got the Empire Strikes Back. The Empire Strikes Back carbon freeze chamber there with the Obi-Wan Dark Times Darth Vader. That is a great Darth Vader. That is the best Darth Vader I've ever seen in 3.75 inch with a Luke Skywalker that I think came out in the Saga collection from the early 2000s, right after the release of Attack of the Clones. He is awesome. He's got some, basically got some battle damage on him, and he's beat up already. But yeah, looking really, really rad. I love this representation of the carbon freeze chamber. It is backlit underneath it with some LEDs to really give it that awesome orange glowy look, and looking really, really cool. And then there was another cardboard extension down below to get the reactor chamber below the carbon freeze chamber. That's an add-on I purchased off the internet. Looking really, really cool. And then there's Darth Vader and the Emperor from the end of Revenge of the Sith. So yeah, that's a great looking shelf. Alrighty guys, next shelf as we're moving up the shelves here, I've got my homage, I guess it would be, to the end of Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope, or just as we knew it, Star Wars as a kid, with the Death Star attack, the attack on the first Death Star, or the Battle of Yavin, whatever you prefer. I've got that awesome Black Series 1/1 scale Luke Skywalker X-Wing fighter helmet. That is a Sideshow Collectibles Luke Skywalker and X-Wing gear. Still really, really nice figure, even though he's getting a little long in the tooth, but still really, really nice. Got a Bandai X-Wing fighter I built on this channel way, way back, like my first, second, third, or fourth video, something like that. I've got my original trilogy VHS copies back there, Empire Strikes Back, Star Wars, and Return of the Jedi, all displayed, looking really, really good. That was the first time I ever got the Star Wars trilogy in any form of home video back in the day. Probably got those in the probably around 1987 was when I finally got those. For years, I had the Star Wars trilogy taped off of television, which was really cool. That'd be cool, kind of cool to have with all the old commercials now. I don't have those blank tapes anymore, but that'd be really, really cool. And I got a Black Series figure in there from the Yavin ceremony. So again, a kind of a mixed medium shelf in as far as scales and different types of items. Oh, and there's a little Death Star in there as well. I think that's a little die-cast Death Star. I forget what line put that out, but yeah, really cool. Alrighty guys, and moving next door, I've got my Vintage Collection Modern Bib Fortuna's Party Palace here in 3.75 inch. It's got a nice cadre of different eras of modern action figures in here, all related to that scum and villainy type characters. I even got some love in there from the Solo movie as well as other older figures. That Tessic right there, Squid Face, he's from the Power of the Jedi collection. That's how old he is. That Ula right there, she is actually the original Ula from the Power of the Force 2 that was sold in that Salacious Crumb 2-pack. I think it was a mail away. But yeah, she's really, really old. But she looks great, man. She looks great with overweight Bib Fortuna there, you know, is slouching on his throne, surrounded by a buffet of awesomeness that I'm sure he's consumed there. But yeah, looking good. There's Hondo. There's I forget her name. I just call her Six Titties. That's probably sexist, but whatever. She's got 6 breasts. Moving over here, we got Weak Way, looking cool. Got a monkey lizard there on the fire on the spit there. And I do have a little LED coming down there to kind of backlight that whole back section. Otherwise, it'd be really dark. I've got I think that's a comic version of Boba Fett, if I'm not mistaken. I've got Black Crescent in there as well, Yak Face. So yeah, looking good. This is a really fun setup. Again, it's going to change probably in the next year as I get that Jabba the Hutt. But for right now, it is Bib Fortuna's Party Palace, and they are partying it up, man, while they can, because you know nothing lasts forever. And moving up to the top shelf, bam, just like that, we're back up into 1/6 scale premium action figures. I've got my my Land Speeder there. That was done by Jazz Inc. That's a third-party company. He does some really amazing stuff, and that Land Speeder is really, really awesome. Yeah, as you guys can see, it sits on a little acrylic base there, looking awesome. The sand base I made myself, and then there is my 1/6 scale Hot Toys Luke Skywalker, the Farm Boy version, leaning up against a Jazz Inc. Moisture Evaporator, which is pretty nice. It leans a little too much more than it should. That's my only criticism of it, but it is nice, and it's just a really awesome environmental piece here in my collection. Just really gives this whole corner just a real Star Warsy look. Not that it wouldn't have a Star Warsy look without it, but it really brings that environmental feel of the Star Wars universe really into focus. I've got that cool 8x10 back there, Luke Skywalker, Farm Boy Dreamer. Yeah, I really relate to that. That's just awesome. Love Luke Skywalker so much. Oh, I didn't show this either. That's a bootleg Mandalorian Luke Skywalker 3.75 inch sort of vintage inspired one that I bought off Etsy a while back, way before Hasbro put out theirs. But yeah, looking cool. Alright guys, next shelf, I got the Tana V4 hallway that Hasbro put out a while back. Still looking great, man. That's a great piece. If you haven't picked it up in your 3.75 inch collector, man, why? Because it's really awesome. I think it's still available on Amazon. It's probably really, I wouldn't say really cheap, but I think it's very reasonable as far as price point goes. It does come with that Fleet Trooper that's coming through the doorway there. But yeah, looking really nice. I love this one a lot. I could probably, I mean, you can basically do a scene with it, or you can just use it as a backdrop for a ton of figures. I kind of went with the scene, obviously, but I love it. It's a great piece. Alrighty, moving up, and I believe this is the first time we're actually going to get into some vintage stuff. I've got some neo vintage and some vintage on this shelf, action figures. Both of those product catalogs are actually from my childhood back there. But again, I've got some action figures on here that I've had for 40 years, and some I've maybe had for, like 4 months, which is really awesome. I don't care where they're coming from. I love the vintage stylization. I don't care if it's coming from Hasbro. I don't care if it's coming from third-party sellers like Stan Solo. I don't care. I love having to be able to continue this collection beyond its original roots from 1977 to 1985. I think it's awesome. I think it's great for collectors, and it's just been a lot of fun to be able to put these figures back up onto my shelves. I'm not going to go figure to figure here. I think you guys know all these guys. I will give a few shout outs here, like that's R2-D2 there with the pop-up lightsaber. That's from my childhood, looking amazing. That's a figure I've had for 40 years, standing next to a figure I got maybe 2 years ago in that Obi-Wan figure, which is still really nice. That Luke Skywalker looks great. That's a vintage Luke Skywalker. The Ahsoka's awesome. The Emperor back there is from my childhood, as well as one of those Emperor Royal Guards. One of them was actually, went in the bathtub with me when I was a kid. That's how old it is. That Darth Vader from the Kenobi series looking really, really awesome. Got some Inquisitor love in there as well. And a Stan Solo droid, just really awesome. So yeah, a lot of coolness here, just a lot of retro looking coolness that I absolutely adore. 2 twin cloud cars I picked up in the last couple of years. Those are both vintage. The Lando Calrissian, the Lobot, the Bespin Guard there, as well as the Ugnaught are all from my childhood. You know, flanked by some more modern figures. That droid is obviously from the Kenobi series. That Ugnaught is also from my childhood. The Cloud Car Pilot is not from my childhood. I had a Cloud Car Pilot, but he was long lost. I picked him up just in the last couple of years to stick inside of the twin car Cloud Car. But yeah, looking just amazing. This is really fun. I think buying third-party and even official retro re-releases and new figures has been one of the biggest joys I've had as a Star Wars collector over the last couple of years. Just to be able to add to something that really all started it all for me over 40 years ago has just been really exciting. Again, I don't care where it comes from. I don't care if you call it repro or whatever. It's been fun, and you know, enjoy it, guys. Just enjoy it. Life's short, and none of this shit's gonna matter in 40 years anyway, because we'll all be dead, people. So just fucking enjoy it.
The Force is back. The rebels won't tire till they see the last of the Empire. And Kenner's there with Star Wars Return of the Jedi Collection.
I'm gonna feed you to Sarlacc pit, Skywalker.
Klaatu, Weequay, Luke Skywalker, and Lando Calrissian, each sold separately.
Alrighty, guys, moving over to the next shelf again. I've got just a mix of some third-party items in here, as well as some Hasbro re-releases, and mixed in with stuff from my childhood. Once again, I've got my Death Star playset here. That's there's a couple shout-outs in there. That Stan Solo droid is obviously from Stan Solo, and looking really, really cool. Got some Stormtrooper love in there. The Luke Skywalker and Han Solo, both in Stormtrooper gear, from Stan Solo. I've got a third-party leg R2-D2. I can't remember where I got that guy. C-3PO looks good. That backdrop is something I bought off eBay, but again, it's supposed to be very indicative of the original Death Star playset, which is right here. So again, it just fits like a glove in here with my playset. The Darth Vader sitting right there, the Darth Vader standing there menacingly, is from my childhood, but he does have a reproduction vinyl cape, and he's with the Grand Moff Tarkin that came with that board game a few years ago, I think for the I want to say the 40th anniversary of the release of A New Hope or Star Wars. That Imperial officer there is from my childhood. The Luke Skywalker up there, and the Han Solo, or the Han Solo I should say, is from my childhood. But the Luke Skywalker and Princess Leia are not. The Princess Leia is vintage, but I picked her up as an adult. And that Luke Skywalker, now that I remember it, is from the 1995 Power of the Force 2 re-release pack. Coming up here, got another Stormtrooper, don't know where he is from. That Obi-Wan Kenobi... No, that one's not from my childhood, but he is vintage. I bought him as an adult. And then up here, I got this awesome X-Wing fighter. It's in really great shape. That is all vintage. Not from my childhood. I did have the white X-Wing as a kid, but that thing is long dead. But this one I picked up just recently and got that acrylic stand it's on off of the eBay. So yeah, looking so good. Alrighty guys, moving across here, I'm back up on that step stool to show you guys off that awesome mini rig there from The Empire Strikes Back with Bosk at the helm. Looking really, really awesome. Got my Return of the Jedi speeder bike, indoor speeder bike there with a my original Biker Scout on there. Then I have the 40th anniversary re-release Retro Collection Biker Scout right next to it. Looking really, really rad. Again, awesome to have different figures from different eras, all representing that awesome vintage love we all had when we were kids from 1978 to 1985. Got Luke Skywalker over here on top of that. Is actually I want to say it's a Power of the Jedi skiff. It's a re-release of the original one that was released around the same time as Droids, I think in 1985. But this one was released in I want to say early 2000s. Anyway, it's got my childhood Weequay on there. It's got a Luke Skywalker there. That's not my childhood Jedi Luke Skywalker, the one I bought later on. It's got my childhood Boba Fett though. That's a really, really awesome Boba Fett. Had him for many, many moons. And there is Nikto on there as well. So yeah, I got a lot of love there. And that ATSD right there, just to complete the lineup. That is actually a Power of the Force 2 ATSD. I bought that back in 1998. probably, maybe 1999. But anyway, had that for a long ass time, and then there is a vintage ATSD driver in there. So yeah, nice shelf. Alrighty guys, and then moving down the shelf here, we just got tons of original, vintage, retro collection, third-party reproductions, just all kinds of awesomeness in here. I'm not going to shout out each and every one of these individual figures. You guys know who most of these guys are. That Chopper is really nice. I did pick him up really recently. But you guys know who all these guys are. Again, I'll just kind of point out the real special ones to me as we go along here. But yeah, looking really awesome. I do love that mini rig a lot. Picked that up at an antique store a couple of years back. That blue astromech there, that's a Stan Solo astromech. Just love what they do with astromech droids. It's just awesome to really fill out this universe in a retro vintage stylization. That Anakin Skywalker, that was a mail-away Anakin Skywalker from 1985. That is mine from when I was a kid. Collected all those proof of purchases from Kenner and then sent away from him, and he came direct from Cincinnati, Ohio back in the day. Really awesome. Yeah, I got some Bounty Hunter love there. That Han and Carbonite was from my Slave One, which is kind of in pieces now, but I still have the Han and Carbonite. Looking awesome. That Admiral Akbar, that was also a mail-away figure back in 1983 before Return of the Jedi was even released. And yeah, I've had him that long, although I think his little staff there might be repro. I got some awesome Tusken Raider love in there. That's my Tusken Raider from when I was a child, as well as a new Tusken Raider from the Book of Boba Fett retro line. Looking really cool with a little Easter egg in there. Oh hell guys, we almost forgot the top shelf up here, which is my 1/6 scale Mos Eisley Cantina section. I've got the entire band there. Those are all, believe it or not, those are all Hasbro, or actually late Kenner 12-inch or 1/6 scale action figures. Looking really good. I got the entire band about a year or two ago for like almost $100, and so that was an instant buy for me, as opposed to trying to collect the ones that Sideshow put out maybe 15 years ago that are really super expensive now. So that was a no-brainer for me, and I think they look really good. I mean, they're not as good as the Sideshow, but they look really good. And they do hold up really well with these other Sideshow figures over here. That Greedo is a Sideshow figure, as well as the Hammerhead, the Imperial Spy dude, the Grenadian Long Snoot, or whatever his name is. He's actually a late Hasbro 12-inch action figure, and they're all chilling there in that Sideshow diorama. I miss when Sideshow did 1/6 scale dioramas, man, and this was a great piece. It is huge. I mean, it is ginormous, and the camera's not doing it justice. I mean, the box was so giant I had to throw it away years ago because I just had no room to keep it. But yeah, looking really good. The backdrop behind the band I made myself to kind of match up with the backdrop from the Sideshow piece there. But yeah, looking good. This is a good shelf. I'd love to put a floor on it someday, but I wouldn't see it, so it wouldn't really matter because it's below my line of sight in the room. So, you know, that's a low priority. But anyway, that's a lot of fun. I like this shelf a lot. And then one more tiny shelf, guys. I'm right up against the ceiling again. Oh, I've got all of my sort of in the celebration of Star Wars boozing, I guess. Not that these are alcoholic, but I've got all of my Star Wars Coca-Cola products from Galaxy's Edge there, and those really cool Star Wars themed thermal detonator whatever bottles. Looking fun there. And then the two shot glasses, the K2SO and Stormtrooper one, I got courtesy of my good buddy AV. You guys might know AV. He was on some of our live streams back when we were live streaming during the pandemic. But yeah, he gave me those shot glasses. So yeah, shout out to AV on that one. But yeah, looking great. This is a cool looking corner. Alrighty guys, and temporarily moving away from vintage Star Wars, or retro vintage Star Wars, back into some premium love. Got a Hot Toys Stap there. That was the Stap that came with the Anakin Skywalker figure, who I've got displayed in another part of the collection that you'll see here shortly. With a Sideshow Collectibles battle droid. That was a battle droid that came in a 2-pack. I've got his companion in another display, and well, like the Anakin, you'll see that in a little bit, but that looks really cool. Again, just a kind of a hodgepodgey area over here in the corner with a lot of really cool shit. There is 1/1 scale Grogu. This one is the Hot Toys version, unlike the Sideshow version you saw earlier in the tour. This one is the Hot Toys one, and this one actually is kind of posable and has ear swap outs and everything. I honestly, there's been a bit of a debate which one was better, and I have both, and so I don't have a bias because I got both, and I honestly think this one's miles better, in my opinion. Just far more expressive and cooler and posable and...
You and me play games together. Even read together.
No, baby Grogu. That's called airbrushing.
Together, just we two, me and you.
Baby Grogu, I love you.
I will always gravitate as a collector, just personal preference, but I'll always gravitate as a collector towards more of an action figure than a statue. I just think statues, by their nature, are just too damn static for me. I like to be able to change things out. I like to be able to play with things a little bit. And yeah, I love this 1/1 scale Grogu. He's just so goddamn cute. So yeah, he's looking great. Moving down the shelf, guys, got some Galaxy's Edge Disneyland, Disney World exclusives. That's a C-3PO there in the Build-A-Droid scale. So he lights up, he does all kinds of shit, he talks. Let's see if we can get him to say anything.
I'm not much more than an interpreter, and not very good at telling stories.
Yeah.
Well, not at making them interesting anyway.
Yeah, looking rad, looking really, really cool. There is a Build-A-Droid scale R2-D2. You can buy him at the Build-A-Droid workshop in Disneyland or Disney World. And you don't build him, you just go in and buy him. He's in a package. But he works the same as the other Build-A-Droids. He's got a remote control. I showed off these guys in action just last winter on my icy driveway to see if they'd make it up an icy driveway. You guys can check out that video if you want. Just click on the channel and it's in there. Speaking of Galaxy's Edge, I got 2 more Galaxy's Edge items in there, both from the Creature Shop. Got that dude, I can't remember his name, that little nasty little monkey alien thing that hangs out outside of Jabba's palace. Not really a monkey, more of like a lizard guy. Hangs out outside of Jabba's palace. And then I got a Dianoga down here in his packaging and the original thing he came with, but I have kind of customed it. I've weathered it up, and I've actually thrown some resin in there to make him look all slimy and nasty, and actually have a little bit of a light in that resin to kind of light him up a little bit, so he looks really cool. So he's chilling in his container, but again, I weathered that thing up, like I said, and I'm really, really happy with how it came out. It looks really, really good. Over here, got a Sphero BB-8 that I picked up first, dirt cheap. He doesn't work, but he is a really nice 1/6 scale BB-8. If you want a BB-8 or the Imperial version, which I also have, that I actually bought these together, you'll see him later in the tour. But again, I'm not a big sequel guy. This is sort of a rare instance here. We'll actually see sequel merch here in my collection. I have some sequel Hot Toys figures that I no longer display. So yeah, those just weren't my favorite movies, and we'll just leave it at that. But yeah, he's still kind of neat. I love the character design. I got WD R2W50, that's the 50th anniversary astromech droid that was everywhere at Disney World like last summer, so he's kind of neat. Coming down here, I got my Power of the Force Y-Wing on this stand here, looking okay. Got a C-3PO piggy bank, and then stacked up here, I need to figure out what I want to do with these guys. I want to get them open. I've got my Phantom Menace set with all those awesome retro figures from the Phantom Menace. So glad they're doing prequel stuff now. Yeah, C-3PO is going to yak at us for a while, but yeah, so glad that they are doing these figures, these retro figures for the prequels now. I absolutely adore that, and I'll probably be buying all of them. But anyway, there's the Phantom Menace pack unopened, and then there is another Star Wars Original New Hope pack. This was like the second half of the original 12 that they put out, and C-3PO and R2-D2, again, all in package. Not sure what I'm going to do with them, but it's just nice to have them in package down here, and eventually they'll find their way into the collection somehow. And real fast before we move on, just a few things that I've got stuck on the floor. I hate having collectibles on the floor. It's sort of my rule that I'm now breaking because I just got so much shit in here, but what are you going to do? We got the AT-ACT, which sounds more like a college entrance exam than a all-terrain armored transport type deal from a galaxy far, far away. But nevertheless, that's its name, from Rogue One. Decent toy, I guess. It's a fun collectible. It walks on its own and shit, and I did a review on it years and years and years ago. But anyway, it is what it is. It's not my favorite piece in the collection, but I have it, and it's on display here. And then I also have this Disney Parks exclusive Sandcrawler, picked up a couple years back, I think at the Land. No, I got this one at the World. Sorry, my wife's a big Disney person, so we frequent the Disney parks. And it's been a couple of years for me, but yeah, we do frequent the Disney parks more than probably the average person does. But anyway, picked this up at Disney World a couple years back, and it's a fun piece. And I also reviewed this here on the channel as well. Alrighty, you guys, well, it's time to take a look at another set of shelves, but these shelves shouldn't take us too long in this particular instance. I've shown these off many times on my other room tours, and not a lot's changed. So we're going to kind of roll through these real fast, but there's still some goodies in here worth talking about, so let's do it. Alrighty, guys, so down here I've got an interactive ultra snacking, cracking baby Grogu, something like that. I don't know, he eats shit. Talks. And got a Lola here too. Sometimes she works. There she goes. So yeah, she's kind of cool. But anyway, yeah, so. And then behind there's just some a number of Star Wars novels that I've of course read over the years. Some of my favorites down there. And then moving up here, guys, we got some vintage goodness. We're back to some awesome vintage goodness. All right, Lola, thank you. Please shut up now. We're back to some awesome vintage goodness up here, including my childhood. Jesus, my childhood Jabba's dungeon. Yeah, looking pretty damn rad. Are you done, Lola? Okay. Yeah. So anyway, so like I said, here's my Jabba the Hutt's dungeon up here with. God damn it! Shut the fuck up. Alrighty, goddamn, that thing would not shut up, and I could not find the off button to it. Anyway, I've got some vintage love up here. This is really cool. This was my Jabba's droid dungeon playset, which, as you guys probably know anyway, it's just basically a remold of the original Droid Factory from 1978, and it was re-released in 1983, 1984, somewhere in there, with Return of the Jedi figures and just kind of relabeled Jabba's Droid Factory. Anyway, this particular one came with that EV-99, that Barada, and the Amana Man. So those three figures actually came with this set. The little computer console in front of EV-99, that's actually from the Power of the Force 2 figure, but I threw it in there because I thought it looked cool. Then of course I've got C-3PO, R2-D2, I got an R5-D4 in there, and a couple power droids, and the Rancor Keeper as well, and 8D8s in the background there as well. But anyway, just a really nice set. Again, that's the playset itself is from my childhood, as well as the three figures that came with it. But yeah, looking good. And then of course I've also got some other some also broken droids in there and whatnot. So yeah, I think that's really rad. So anyway, moving over here, guys. Speaking of droids, we got my Droids animated cartoon from 1985. This is sort of my homage to that cartoon, which I really loved when I was a kid. It came on at like 6:30 in the frickin' morning when it was actually on TV. So it was, even back then, it was hard for my ass to get up and watch it. But it was a good cartoon, and I've had an opportunity to give it a rewatch on Disney Plus recently. Really enjoyed it. That's the lunchbox I had in the 4th grade, and it's really cool. Although that's not the exact same lunchbox I had in 4th grade, but I had that Droids lunchbox in 4th grade. So I was really excited when I was able to rebuy it and put it in the collection. And then, of course, I jumped on those Droids figures when they came out. And then there's 2 Stan Solo Droids figures in there as well. Those would be, if those were the originals, those would be worth tons of money. So, yeah, obviously those are Stan Solo reproductions. And then there's a Droids VHS in there that I bought in the mid 90s back there as well, so that's kind of rad. And then moving over to the next shelf, guys, we've got some awesome Dagobah love. There's my Dagobah playset there with Yoda, Sensor Scope, R2-D2, and I just picked that dude up. That is the Stan Solo, again, Stan Solo, giving him a lot of shout outs today, but that is the Stan Solo vintage Dagobah Luke that just came out. Picked him up off Etsy. Super fast shipping on that, guys. I was really impressed. I mean, it was $50. It's a little steep for one 3.75 inch figure, but nevertheless, it's from a small company, so you got to kind of give them some slack on that. A small third-party company, so yeah, like I said, you got to give them some slack on that. But still, it was really cool to add him to the collection. Whenever there's a Luke Skywalker, I'm gonna buy it probably. Oh, and there's my Yoda puppet back there, a Black Series Deluxe Luke Skywalker figure there as well. And then there is a way back in there. There's an Empire Strikes Back carrying case, a vintage Empire Strikes Back carrying case from 1980 that I got at like a comic book store back in like 2000 or something. So I've had it for like 24 years, but it's much older than even that. So alrighty, guys, next shelf over, I've got my Hot Toys Luke Skywalker battle damage version, the from the DX7, I think that is, from Hot Toys. He's just in the process of getting rehomed. I just kind of threw him there for right now. My old Sideshow Collectibles Lando's in there, as well as my Best Bin micro collection sets. A lot of those, 2 of those I had from when I was a kid. Those are really fun. And then there is also IG-88, the Gentle Giant bust of IG-88 is in there as well. So nice little Empire Strikes Back shelf with some vintage and some sort of older premium figures and whatnot. Alrighty guys, next shelf down is kind of a weird shelf, not gonna lie. Just some hodgepodgey stuff down here. Again, bottom shelves tend to be a little less on the cool side as far as how I display my stuff, because I just don't see it. But anyway, I've got a Heart of the Jedi novel. That's actually a fan printing of a old Expanded Universe novel that I don't think ever actually got published, and so I picked that up off I want to say off eBay before or Amazon, maybe. I think it was off Amazon. I picked that paperback off Amazon before Lucasfilm and Disney cracked down on it being sold, so I think it's kind of rare, but I'm not sure. Anyway, I also got a BB-8 in there. Again, I don't mind the character design on that. Yeah, no, the sequels are not my favorite movie, but I try to focus on my channel what I like versus what I don't, and that's sort of what I think differentiates me on to some people, and so I kind of pride myself on that. And then they got these Star Wars Vision figures. These were originally sold at I want to say Target, and they were pretty high priced. I mean, for a Target figure anyway. They're from Bandai. They're pretty neat. I actually picked these up at Ross. That's a deep discount store here, and I got them for like $14 each, so I didn't spend a lot of money on them, but they're fun. I think they're from the Star Wars Visions anime shorts, and I think they were from the Twins episode, if I remember. I've seen it. It's okay. Nothing to write home about, but anyway, I thought they were kind of neat looking. And then moving to the next shelf, really nothing here. Got a Darth Vader drinking cup and some Disney Store exclusive R2 units and a Snowspeeder, and then all my comic books and things like that. I got the entire Clone Wars series from the Dark Horse series back in the day, and some source books and things like that. Just a lot of cool shit in there. And then the next shelf over here got some more Empire Strikes Back Micro World stuff. Both those playsets from my childhood. They're kind of blocked right now, but I don't know. They're not in the best shape. And then, of course, I have my Star Wars Trilogy VHS set. Those were released in 1995. That's the original theatricals, or the original versions of the original Star Wars trilogy before the special editions came out, and so that was the last time they were sold on VHS, was back in 1995. So there they are, and those are actually really, really nice covers. I like those a lot. And yeah, that gets us back to Baby Grogu and Lola there. So yeah, that's these shelves. Again, I'm just kind of moved through them pretty quickly, but yeah, there's some goodies on here for sure. Up into the next shelf, and just like that, bam, we're back into premium 1/6 scale Star Wars. And I've shown off this shelf many, many times, so I'm not going to spend a lot of bandwidth here. But this, of course, is my 1/6 scale Jabba the Hutt Sideshow Collectibles figure. This is the second version of Jabba the Hutt Sideshow Collectibles did. I actually own the first one back in the day, but actually that was one of the few figures I've ever actually sold. I did sell it, but I sold it to a good buddy, and he was very appreciative to get it, so it worked out really, really well, and then applied some of that money to buy him. But so that worked out really, really well. But yeah, here he is with the two Gamorrean guards, the original Sideshow Collectibles Gamorrean guard there, and then there is Gartog over here, and he's got the broken horn, and he looks a little more derpy. And then, of course, I've got two Sideshow Collectibles environmental pieces, Jabba the Hutt environmental pieces. There's the Jabba's Palace, like, hallway kind of thing. It's sort of a archway, and it's kind of cool. And it all lights up. Unfortunately, the batteries are dead in it right now. And then moving over here, I have the original first Sideshow Collectibles Han and Carbonite from Jabba's Palace with that early Scum and Villainy Collection Sideshow Collectibles Princess Leia. And then there's the brand new Hot Toys C-3PO from Return of the Jedi, the 40th anniversary Return of the Jedi C-3PO that just recently came out. Got some Hasbro Jawas in there. Those are actually really hold up real nice. And so yeah, looking really, really nice overall. I got two Salacious Crumbs. One came with the Jabba. That's a Sideshow Salacious Crumb right there. And then this is the Hot Toy Salacious Crumb that came with that C-3PO. And I've got that alternative head portrait with him as well, with the popped out eye on the C-3PO. I just think that looks pretty damn cool. I know it doesn't make a lot of sense here from a film standpoint, but I just thought they looked kind of fun there all together. But anyway, so yeah, there's my Jabba the Hutt 1/6 scale area of my collection, and yeah, looking great. Let's look at some more Hot Toys while we're at it, shall we? Alright guys, just to give you another lay of the land where we are here in my collection. We're moving up here, and basically I've got a giant lip that goes around the entire Well, about 3/4 of the perimeter of this room, and it's basically the lip for the foundation of the house, which works really nice because it gives me an extra shelf, so to speak. But on top of that lip, I have 6 shoebox sized display cabinets that I picked up, and these are made out of acrylic, and they are perfect. While they're really designed to display shoes, they are perfect to display 1/6 scale action figures. And so some of them I've given some more creative liberty to, and have actually designed some dioramas for the interior of them, and some of them are just housing figures just by themselves. But anyway, we're going to go through each one of these, and I'll show you guys what I've done. These are really fun. I like these. This is a display I'm pretty proud of. So the first one, and some of these are harder to get into than others, so where I can open up the cabinet with ease, I will, but in this case it's a little cumbersome to do so. Anyway, so these are both Mandalorian Season 2 figures. That, of course, is the Boba Fett there, with his Tusken garb still on, and then there's a Tusken Raider in there. Both of those were marketed from Hot Toys for Mandalorian Season 2. But anyway, they are in this cabinet, and I did a little bit of a sand base for them, and try to even make it a little kind of three-dimensional there by showing the underground there. And I've got the little scum and villainy little critter under there as well. He's living in his little burrow there, as you guys can see. I've been kind of hashed it out. Really wanted to do it like kind of like a museum-esque diorama. When you go to a museum and you see all the wildlife dioramas they have in a museum, that's sort of what that was inspired from. But anyway, the overall diorama is pretty cool, and the figures in there are really, really awesome. So that's awesome. I didn't actually get that Boba Fett into that pose. The guy who owned it before me did, and I just kept it in because it was such a good pose. So yeah, looking cool. Looking really, really good. So the next cabinet right here, and I've got a little bit of glare coming off of it. This is sort of how I would kind of like to have seen the Star Wars sequels go. Again, I really do love the character designs from the sequels, and I really try to focus on the things I love, and even if I have to kind of headcanon it a little bit here, but I've got that Crate Luke Skywalker from Hot Toys, which actually I think is a really, really great Grandmaster Luke Skywalker. Picked him up last year and put him in this diorama there. He's got Grogu in there, and that First Order droid, which kind of in my head canon maybe is Luke's droid in this hypothetical future scenario here. He is actually hunting Abeloth in this. This is, again, my head canon, just having some fun here. And I actually superimposed Abeloth into that background there, and you can't really see her on camera, but she is there. Her face is superimposed against those moons as Luke Skywalker is hunting her with the help from his apprentice Grogu. Anyway, shit I would have liked to have seen that we didn't get, but, whatever. I like to play with my collectibles the same way I like to play with my toys when I was a kid. Sometimes you get to create your own scenarios and have your own unique headcanon, and this is indeed a representation of what mine is currently. So yeah, I think that's really, really cool, and it's really fun. Alrighty guys, and moving next door to that, I've got a younger Luke Skywalker with his best friend Han Solo, with a CCFL light-up lightsaber there, looking really, really cool. Again, this is a diorama I did, something that I just kind of felt like we got denied, and that would be a Luke Skywalker, Han Solo sort of buddy movie or buddy show. Anyway, there's Han comforting Luke after Luke had to probably kill a remnant stormtrooper there. Again, this is fully trained, fully prime Luke Skywalker there with Han Solo. That Han Solo figure is actually I got that head from a third party and just stuck it on my Solo Han Solo figure, so he kind of has that different look, different outfit. I really like that outfit a lot, but I really wanted to get a Harrison Ford likeness on it. I just think it looks really, really cool. That's sort of, Han Solo post Return of the Jedi, and he's got some respectability to him there. He's a general, he's a badass, and he's with his best friend, who is, of course, the greatest Jedi Knight of all time, Luke Skywalker. So yeah, again, this is my headcanon, guys. I'm just having fun with it, and this is how I like to, have fun with my toys, is to kind of express some of my headcanon. It doesn't always have to be exactly film accurate or corporate canon, so to speak. This is how I've kind of think about these things. And again, this is really, really fun, and I love this diorama a lot. And I love that CCFL lightsaber. That's courtesy of Krista Gooseman, by the way. So next shelf up, or next container set up, I should say. No diorama here. I'd like to build one eventually, and I probably will. But I've got the Anakin Skywalker Clone Wars version that came with that stap I showed earlier in the tour, as well as my Season 7 Ahsoka there. From the Clone Wars series, sort of a more live-action kind of hybrid version of that character there in the Season 7 outfit. But yeah, looking really, really nice there. Not a lot to say, but these are great figures. And I put that Clone Wars helmet that she came with, and then there's just a random battle droid head in there as well. But yeah, looking really, really nice. And, you know, I've become kind of a snob. I mean, I still do it in some places, you're going to see, but whenever I have 1/6 scale figures, if I don't have CCFL or some kind of light up LED lightsaber to go with it, I really don't want to have their lightsabers ignited because it's not lit up. I mean, see, I've become a snob in that sense. But so that's why there's no lit up lightsabers in this display there, because I don't have one for them. But yeah, anyway, really, really nice looking figures though. Alrighty guys, moving over to the next cabinet, I've got the Episode 2 Attack of the Clones 20th anniversary R2-D2 and C-3PO in there, and really, really cool figures. Forgive the glare coming off these acrylic cabinets on this one. I can't really open this one up. I mean, I can, but I would have to cut some tape. I actually have this one sealed up, and the reason I have it sealed up is because both those figures are so heavy that if for whatever reason they were to fall, they would actually knock the cabinet door open and potentially fall down on top of the polystone head of Jabba the Hutt, and that would be really, really, really bad. So anyway, so they're kind of taped up there for the safety of whatever collectibles are below them. In this case, it happens to be my $800 Jabba the Hutt. So anyway, but they are really, really cool. Dig them a lot. There's a lot of die cast in them. I actually did reviews on both of these guys when I got them, but I do love R2-D2 on that flight stand. Just sort of different compared to the way I have the rest of my 1/6 scale R2-D2s, which I have a lot floating around here in the collection. But I do like him with his little rocket packs on there. And the C-3PO is actually really, really well done. Just like that 40th anniversary one is. Just really, really nice. The eyes light up, and it's a pretty spectacular figure in its own right. And then moving into the next shelf, guys, there is the twin to that battle droid. That's a Sideshow Collectibles 1/6 scale battle droid. I showed off his companion with the stap a little while back. So that was the other battle droid that comes with it. And it is in there with my super battle droid that I just got from Hot Toys. Picked him up at my local collectible store. I haven't even done a review on him here on the channel. I've been really backed up and really, really, really behind in making videos lately. So I've been meaning to do one on him, and I probably still will in the future. But yeah, he's a really, really great figure. And yeah, I mean, there's no die cast on him, but again, he's really fantastic and bulky and big like you would expect from a super battle droid. So I love those two a lot. Looking great. Alright guys, and I'm back up on my step stool here with my head pressed up against the ceiling, but on top of those display cabinets, I actually have some Funko love, and this was the only Funko love you'll see in my entire collection. I managed to condense it down into one area. I'm not a big Funko Pops fan. I've actually made fun of them on this channel, which probably shouldn't have done that, because on occasion I like to buy one too. For certain characters and things. But anyway, these are all my Funko Pops. I've got Grogu and Din Djarin there on the Bantha, which I thought was fun. I got some Luke Skywalker love. That's the Return of the Jedi Luke Skywalker with the Return of the Jedi Jabba the Hutt. And then there's the Book of Boba Fett Luke and the Mando Season 2 Luke. And then there's Obi-Wan on the Eopie from the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. But anyway, yeah, like I said, these are the only Pops I have in my collection, and they are up here. And they actually look pretty decent up here. I mean, they're fun. I probably shouldn't have been so hard on them in the past. I could see why people like them. I just can't imagine having walls and walls of Funko shit in my house. But yeah, just a few are fun, though. Before we move too far away from it, there's just corners of odds and ends of dumb shit in this collection. I've got some TIE Fighters there. I forget what those are. Those might be Hot Wheels or something. I don't remember. Got my security camera there. And then I bought that hand to show off all the different cheap-ass Star Wars watches I've picked up over the years. Most of them are Mandalorian ones, but they're fun. I want to get a bunch of... I used to have a bunch of the Burger King ones that were giveaways back in the day. And when I mean back in the day, I mean like 20 years ago. But yeah, I had a couple, but I don't know what happened to them. But anyway, yeah, I like to get some Burger King love in there. But yeah, I kind of like Star Wars watches. It's sort of a small soft spot I have. But yeah, anyway, moving on. Alright, so moving over from those Funko Pops, this is sort of a miscellaneous... sort of Tatooine themed shelf. I've got a Kotopakia Tusken Raider, which is a really, really nice vinyl statue. I haven't been a huge fan of vinyl statues over the years, although I have a couple in this collection, as you have seen or will see. But this is probably the best one. This one's really, really cool. I really love that stand a lot. It just really pulls just this look of savagery from that Tusken Raider, which is how I have always envisioned them. Looking really, really cool. There's Obi-Wan Kenobi once again on his EOP. That's the version that came out in that preschool line that I cannot remember the name of. You know, there's so many lines and shit, and this is 45 years of collecting, guys. Don't expect me to remember what every single little thing is and what it came from. There is the Star Wars Episode 1 Watto's Box Cinema Scene. I love that one a lot. That was so rare and was worth a lot of money back in the day, and now you can find it for like $30. But you know, that was a coveted piece back in the day, and I didn't get it until just a couple of years ago because it was kind of rare. And then there's a Force Unleashed Princess Leia in the slave outfit. Looking sexy and awesome. And next to it is I don't know what this Rancor is. I found it at a collector store, and I can't find anything like it online. I don't know what it is. It's a statue, and it's, you know, very much sort of like maybe a hard vinyl statue, but it's really, really cool. Again, I looked at the bottom of it, and I don't recognize the company, and I can't remember what it was. I don't want to, you know, check it out now when it's up here. But anyway, it's kind of rare. It's definitely a rare piece in my collection, and a really cool piece. I whiffed on buying both the 1/12 and the 1/6 scale Sideshow statue Rancors that came out, and those are really, really awesome. So I was kind of sad that I whiffed on them, and they were a little too high priced for me. So I was happy to get this guy for like $150 in my collection. So yeah, he looks really, really cool. Down to the next shelf here, and bam, just like that, we are back into 3.75 inch figures. And this is a diorama I've got set up here, and I don't know if this is Navarro or it's Tatooine or maybe someplace in between here in the Star Wars universe, but this is definitely another example of my headcanon just kind of taking over and having some fun. I've got that Navarro fairy droid, the astromech fairy droid from season 1 finale of The Mandalorian, riding atop of a Power of the Force 2 dewback. Just kind of seemed right. I don't know, just kind of fit. I just thought it looked kind of fun there. I got Cad Bane there, the vintage collection Cad Bane, with even some episode 7 figures mixed in there. Again, the character design's always fun. It wasn't my favorite movie, but the character design is always epic from Lucasfilm. I got Efont Mon in there, got a power droid, got some miscellaneous astromech love in there as well, with an R5 and a older, maybe that's an R6 or R7, maybe that's just an R2, I'm not sure. But anyway, I got that blue dude from the Mandalorian, got a Star Tours robot back there, got episode 2 Saga Watto there with a hat, got a Doug in there, that's Sebulba, but you know, could be anyone. Got Dio from Rise of Skywalker. I never even saw Rise of Skywalker, guys, but oh well. So again, some of the character designs are fun. And then over here I've got that Navarro bar scene. That is of course from Hasbro. Of course, I didn't mention that the other diorama over here, that's from Cardstock Cantina. So it kind of lines up real nice with that Navarro bar scene there. So one's cardboard, one's plastic, but still really fun. I got IG-11 there, got Din Djarin R5-D4, got Quill in there, got Grief Karga right there hanging out with that Jawa. Rest in peace, Carl Weathers. Man, that was a bummer. One of my favorites growing up. I loved him in the Rocky films, as well as in Predator and Happy Gilmore, and of course The Mandalorian. So much awesomeness. Such a great guy. Like I said, I got the Jawa there eating an egg. Got Mara Jade there. That's from, I think, from a Dark Horse comic 2-pack. And then I got the concept Ralph McQuarrie Chewbacca. Of course, that's not Chewbacca in this instance. It's someone else, but chilling out there with Mara Jade in this bar, doing some negotiating. Got EV-99 back there doing some bartending. So yeah, I love this a lot. Just what a great shelf. This is one of my favorites. Guys, moving down to the next shelf, got some more Cardstock Cantina love. Again, they're not a sponsor of this channel. I just really do love their product a lot. Cardstock Cantina off Etsy. You know, they got so much awesomeness for small spaces to display your 3.75 inch and 6 inch scale action figures. But again, these are really, really awesome. Got Obi-Wan Kenobi there on an episode 1 EOP. And I've got some droids in there and some Jawas, R5-D4, the Death Star droid. In this case, it's the Death Star droid with the Jawas. So yeah, looking really, really fun. And then moving over here, I've got some Tusken Raider love. Tusken Raiders there with various Tusken Raider action figures. Got 2 Massifs there, one from the original Saga wave from 2002, and then there's the new Massif that just came out this year. I got some Tusken Raiders in there, some different warriors, and some Tusken Raider females in there as well. Just a lot of fun. And let me light that up again because that's really, really cool. That's actually a Black Series base for Kylo Ren, but I just bought the base because I thought it was really, really cool. Got the Power of the Force 2 Ronto up there from the special edition, and I got those Ewok action figures still on card that I originally bought to put in this diorama right here, but I've just never gotten around to it because they look so good on card. But anyway, this is a diorama I've showed off to you guys many times here on the Plastic Planet. This is my own personal diorama that I made myself. And it's sort of like, basically it's the Ewoks having a picnic, basically. Again, this is all headcanon shit. Luke Skywalker is training Grogu there. This is maybe sometime in that 2-year gap that they said that we got. And of course there's Ahsoka there looking all stern with her arms crossed and being a big party pooper. And they got the droids in there, and the Ewoks are fishing in the stream there. Behind them is the ruins of an AT-ST. Han Solo telling Luke that, hey man, hey kid, we gotta get going, man, we gotta get going. And Chewbacca trying to get everyone's attention for some reason. But I've got just an awesome just a collection of Ewok action figures. Some of these are from Hasbro. Some of these are third-party customs off Etsy. Just a lot of fun there. I made that resin stream myself with little fish in there. Added those frogs from that Luke Skywalker Deluxe 3.75-inch set. And then there's a bridge in there that's actually from the old Jedi Spirit cinema scene that I just threw in there. So yeah, looking good. There's a derpy looking Ewok in the back there. He's swimming and having some fun. And yeah, so just a lot of coolness here. Moving down from that, here we're on yet another set of shelves. This is a small corner shelf here. I've got the this is actually the Death Star Swing Escape playset or whatever that came out during the Power of the Force 2 era. Very, very early playset, right from 1995. But anyway, I've got a third-party printed cardboard retro backdrop in there. And then, of course, I've got the Luke Skywalker from the Season 2 finale, the Vintage Collection Luke Skywalker in there, as well as, I think that's a Gaming Greats figure. I can't remember his name, but it's like some sort of an Imperial Elite Trooper there. Got the Episode 3 R2 with the jets, which I thought looked kind of cool there in that pit. But anyway, this is again some more fun headcanon there, giving Luke Skywalker, Prime Jedi Luke Skywalker, some of his own adventures, which we have been denied, which is criminal in my opinion, but we have been denied. But anyway, I think that looks really, really cool. So again, I'm just filling gaps in my head of the adventures of Luke Skywalker, my all-time favorite hero in all of fiction. And yeah, I like this one a lot. Alright guys, next shelf down, I've got a Death Star popcorn air popper there that I got for Christmas from my sister. And then I've got some 3.75-inch love, including that brand new Darth Vader that came out for Return of the Jedi, as well as some Dark Troopers there in their loading stations. Pick those guys up on the cheap. And then there's a Jedi Fallen Order, I think, AT-ST, or I'm sorry, Scout Trooper back there with his electrical poking prod. So yeah, looking kind of cool there. Again, not much to write home about, just some odds and ends. And then, like everything else in my collection, another bottom shelf with really nothing but glorified storage. I've got the Revenge of the Sith. I forget the name of that walker, but there's that guy with that. That's from the Revenge of the Sith line. And then there's, I don't know, this derpy Wicket that I got at Target a couple years ago. Can't remember the line again. I think it was more of a preschool line and sort of a semi-hybrid of plastic and plushy. So yeah, he's fun. He's cute. Look at those eyes. Yeah, that's cute. But yeah, anyway, not much to write home about there. Alrighty guys, I'm moving over here. Generally for the sake of the tour, I moved this out, but this is my full 3.75-inch Episode 1 Jedi Council scene in here. Just kind of sits on top of this pedestal here. But anyway, this is the entire set, all Jedi Masters. And again, this was sold in like, I don't know, a couple different sets back in the day, back in the early 2000s. And honestly, I can't remember what line this came out of. I think it might have been in the Saga line. post 2002, but I could be mistaken. But anyway, all the Jedi Masters are there. Look at Yoda there. That's definitely an Episode 1 pre-CGI Yoda, looking cool. Qui-Gon there with young Anakin debating whether he should be trained or not, and then all the Jedi Masters. There's Yaddle, there's Shakti. Of course, some of these are kind of a mix of like Episode 3 Jedi Council members and Episode 1 Jedi Council members, because they weren't all the same in all the prequel movies. Yeah, it's definitely a nice representation though overall. Ki-Adi-Mundi, Plo Koon, yeah, looking cool. CC-10, yeah, some of them I can't remember the names of, but yeah, looking rad.
Thanks for hanging with me. We've come so far around this room here, guys, and we got a little ways to go here. We're getting into 1/6 scale categories here, including Sideshow, most notably Hot Toys, and a ton of other cool shit. So hang with me, guys. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Let's get this room tour going. Alrighty, guys. So we are at our first bank of detolfs. Let's see here, I've got close to 7 detolfs we need to go through, all filled to the brim with premium action figures, most notably Sideshow and Hot Toys. We're going to start out right over here on the top of this detolf bank. I have got 3 of these acrylic shoebox display cases that are chock full of figures here. We're going to start over here with Mr. Emperor Palpatine. Yeah, so this is the Emperor from, I don't know, the 2010s, early 2010s, somewhere in there. Anyway, he came with his throne. That throne is polystone, unlike the later offering that we got from Hot Toys, which was plastic. This one is all polystone. It's very heavy. It's nice. It's got a nice premium feel to it, I would say. Although it doesn't have any light up features like the Hot Toys one. The Emperor figure himself is actually pretty good. I think it's stayed pretty relevant over the years, even though I kind of wish I would have gotten the Hot Toys one in hindsight. But I got like 2 Emperor Palpatines coming from Hot Toys in the next year, including the Clone Wars version of Sidious, as well as the Episode 3. So both those are going to be rad. But anyway, this is the Return of the Jedi. This is the Sideshow version, and he's still holding up here in my collection. Alrighty, guys, so next case over, we have got a Sideshow collectibles figure. This is late or early 2010s, I want to say, somewhere in there. I can't remember the exact year he came out. Anyway, this is the Clone Wars version of Anakin Skywalker from Sideshow Collectibles, not Hot Toys. I do like kind of the shorter hair he's got there. It looks very much rendition of Anakin from season 1 and 2 of the original, well, not the original, but from the Clone Wars as it aired on Cartoon Network back in 2008, somewhere in there. And he looks pretty good. Right next to him is a Hot Toys. That is Captain Rex, of course. And I've got him with his helmet on and not looking really particularly special. This figure has a lot of bells and whistles and a lot of different ways you can pose him, including with a jetpack and with a flight stand and alternate head portrait. And I just have him looking pretty candid back there, just chilling with his helmet on. But again, great figure. Alrighty, guys, and lastly, got a couple Sideshow collectibles snow troopers up here. Again, I can't remember the dates these guys came out. I want to say early 2010s, perhaps. Again, I mean, I could look it up, but I'm frankly fucking lazy, guys. I don't want to do that. But anyway, they're still cool. They still hold up. Yeah, they look great. You know, these were later Sideshow pieces, later 1/6 scale Sideshow pieces. But again, yeah, they're awesome. I got 2 of them. They're the exact same figure, but boy, they look great. All right, guys, and lastly on this shelf, I've got an EFX prop replica Darth Vader helmet. You can really see right through the grate on his breath apparatus there. But anyway, this is, like I said, this is an EFX. This is a prop replica from, I believe, Episode 4, or the original Star Wars. And yeah, looking really, really nice there. I got it on a sort of a makeshift stand that I made out of a paper towel holder with a tennis ball attached from it. Not my idea, someone else's that I copied, but yeah, looking pretty good. And I've had this piece for a long time, and yeah, it's looking really good up there. guys, so moving into our first detail tonight, I'm going to show off to you guys. I got my DX7 Luke Skywalker. That's the non-battle damaged version, and that figure came as a 2-pack, and I showed off the battle damage one earlier in the video. I also have in there my Empire Strikes Back. I think that might be, no, I don't think that's the 40th anniversary. I think that's just an earlier version of the Empire Strikes Back Darth Vader, and I've actually replaced his head. Now, this wasn't my idea. I actually got this from another YouTuber, a larger, much larger YouTuber than me. I can't remember who, but I don't think they need any shout outs from me. But anyway, I did get the idea from them to replace the head on my Darth Vader with the head from the recent Obi-Wan Kenobi release. It is a superior head sculpt on that Kenobi Darth Vader that came out, the unbattle damaged one, and I'll be showing that off. That figure off later in the tour. However, like I said, I swapped out that head for the old Empire Strikes Back head, and I'm really pleased with how it looks. Actually, it does have a CCFL lightsaber on it, the Vader, I mean, and that stand is just top notch. That's just titties. So yeah, it's a great looking shelf here. Alrighty guys, next shelf down is a Sideshow Collectibles 1/6 scale Luke Skywalker in Snowspeeder flight gear from the Empire Strikes Back. And you could also double this one up, like the Hot Toys version that came out just a couple years back. This one also you could kind of double up as a Dagobah Luke Skywalker, but I went with a Hoth look on him. That is a CCFL lightsaber with him as well, courtesy of Krista Gooseman. And it's just a cool background I picked up off eBay, just like the one above it. Anyway, a good looking figure though. I really do dig this one a lot. I could do a little better job hiding my cord to my CCFL lightsaber there. It's not very well hidden, but anyway, the figure is sitting solo in this shelf, and yeah, it looks really good. That's fantastic. Alrighty guys, next shelf, I got the 40th anniversary Empire Strikes Back Boba Fett from Hot Toys in there, in addition to 3 Sideshow pieces, including the Han and Carbonite, the most recent version they came out with more of an Empire Strikes Back theme to it, obviously. The Sideshow Collectibles Bosk, that is the first version of it. It came with that secondary head sculpt where he's all kind of all crazy and wild and reptilian and sassy, I guess. And then there is the Sideshow Collectibles IG-88 in there as well. Again, another fine figure. Both of those figures from Sideshow actually are very fine figures that still hold up spectacularly considering their age. But anyway, nice looking shelf here. They're just kind of celebrating the acquisition of Han Solo and Carbonite there. Boba Fett acting cool as a cucumber, and Bosk is obviously nerdgasming himself back there that they finally caught Captain Solo, and IG-88 is just being the stoic computing assassin asshole that he is. So yeah, fun shelf. Alrighty guys, another bottom shelf. Still great figures down here. I got Commander Gree and then a Utapa Trooper down here, to some Clone Wars love. I had more down here originally, but a lot of those figures have been moved out and put in other displays. But again, 2 really nice figures just kind of hanging out down here. Eventually they'll go into other displays, but for right now they're just kind of being held down here on this bottom shelf. Now that doesn't mean that they're not awesome. They're just kind of misplaced right now as far as where to go in the collection. So they're just chilling on this bottom shelf. Alrighty guys, so next detail over, another handmade diorama by yours truly. Made this out of insulation foam, some floral foam, some resin to give that lava effect, and a few little Star Wars type greebles I got off of Etsy to give us some control panels and things like that. But anyway, it's Anakin Skywalker, or Darth Vader if you will, on Mustafar, and I've got that awesome stand that the episode 3 Sith version of Anakin Skywalker, where Darth Vader came with there, the lava droid, looking really cool. Reached in and turned him on. He's not typically glowing like that, but for the sake of the video I'm gonna light him up for you guys. But yeah, looking really nice. I love the way I got the light just right on Anakin Skywalker, or Darth Vader's face. You really see the Sith eyes come out in him. Looking really awesome, looking really menacing. He's just totally, killed the entire leadership of the former Confederacy of planets or whatever, Yeah, and just looking menacing there. He just acts Newt Gunray and just is out there on the balcony, you know, contemplating his destiny in the galaxy now. But yeah, looking really, really cool. As you guys can see, yeah, like I said, I've got some lava in there, and then I've got this. This actually, I made this railing out of basically a dish stand that I bought at IKEA, and I spray painted it gold, or kind of a bronzy look to kind of match it up with how I would envision the controls and things like that looking on Mustafar. So anyway, really, really cool diorama. Again, handmade with the Anakin Skywalker, the dark side Anakin Skywalker, Darth Vader Hot Toys figure in it. So yeah, rad. Alrighty guys, and next shelf down, a little bit of a mixed figure shelf. Got some Sideshow, some Hot Toys, some Hasbro love in here. I've got the Sideshow collectibles. That's the deluxe Darth Vader. That came out a number of years back. I think maybe 2014, I want to say, somewhere in there. Anyway, picked him up. I thought he was just the awesomest, coolest Vader at the time. And he still actually holds up really, really nice. Actually, of all my 1/6 Vaders, he's not too far down the list. I think he actually still looks really, really good. He's accompanied there by the Hot Toys Emperor's Royal Guard. I've got the Emperor himself there as a hologram on that hologram table. That came with, I believe, with the Obi-Wan Kenobi, the Episode 3 Obi-Wan Kenobi, which you guys will see shortly. I've got some Hasbro Black Series love there. Got Dr. Aphra there with her nasty droids, 000 and BD whatever. Kind of, the names are kind of escaping me. Anyway, from the Darth Vader comic, which is also back there as well, if you guys can see. And then I've got the secondary helmet, the deluxe Sideshow Vader came with. Alright guys, and the next shelf down, I got a bit of a trooper shelf here. Got the Return of the Jedi Stormtrooper front and center there. Looking pretty cool. Got a Remnant Stormtrooper right behind him, and a Remnant Scout Trooper, and then in the back are some older figs. That TIE Fighter pilot's actually a Marmot TIE Fighter pilot. I don't know if anyone remembers Marmot. If you were a collector back in the late 90s, early 2000s, you might remember Marmot. They were kind of the premium figs at the time before even Sideshow was doing figures. So that's kind of cool. It's a little bit of a throwback. That figure cost $50 retail back in the day. Hard to believe. And then there is also a Sideshow Collectibles AT-AT driver back there. He's actually a great figure, and he absolutely holds up and looks great along with the rest of these Hot Toy figures out here. But so yeah, this is my trooper shelf, so to speak. A little bit of an assortment of some Imperial awesomeness. All right, guys, and lastly down here, I got some Imperial astromech droids and a prototype R2-D2, which he really just kind of fits in with the Imperial droids, I think, just because of his color scheme. But yeah, not much to write home about here. Just some really, really awesomeness. These are all from Sideshow Collectibles. And then I actually have a Hasbro figure in there because we never got a proper Death Star droid. So this Hasbro Death Star droid is kind of filling in, and not that I can see him really well where he's at. Again, we're on the bottom shelf, and I treat my bottom shelves a lot like a redheaded stepchild. They just don't get the love that some of the upper shelves get because I just can't see it. And then there is also a Rebel Trooper there from Sideshow Collectibles. He's a little beat up. He's definitely showing his age now. Oh, and that interrogation droid came with the Hot Toys first New Hope Darth Vader, and we'll be getting to him in a little bit. He's in another cabinet. But yeah, so this is okay. Alrighty guys, so this final detail along this bank here will be really fast. This will be really, really quick. I can't even open these details up because of this shelf here. Again, they're kind of smashed in there. But anyway, not a lot to talk about. Not that there's not some goodies in here. I got my premium format Princess Leia. That's the quarter scale premium format Princess Leia. That's the first version of her that came out, I believe, late 2000s. Again, really, really nice statue. She looks really good in there. As we go down, though, things get a little harder to see. I've got two figures that just, in my opinion, don't hold up that well. But anyway, you've got, and excuse the shelf there, guys, you really can't see in there, and this is my view of it as well. But anyway, I've got the 1/6 scale Sideshow Collectibles original Darth Vader and original Obi-Wan Kenobi. Like I said, two figures that don't really hold up anymore, so they're just kind of hanging out there where I really can't see them too well. You know, if I put anything else in this shelf, it kind of sucks, then I'd be denied its viewing pleasure. But these guys I don't mind so much being in here. So anyway, they're in there locked in Mortal Kombat for the time being. And then we come down to the last shelf here, again, another bottom shelf. I've got three Sideshow Collectible 1/6 scale Jedi Knights. I got Aayla Secura, Mace Windu, and Plo Koon in this shelf. And, you know, that Plo Koon's actually pretty sweet. And that Aayla Secura's not bad. The Mace is a little, Mace has not held up. I'll just put it that way to be polite. I probably should pick up the Hot Toys one at some point pretty soon here, because that dude just isn't doing it anymore. But anyway, that's nice. Three Jedi Knights in there. I do like the Plo Koon, like I said. He's rad. like Sideshow, if you like Hot Toys, man, oh man, these are the money shells for you. So we'll be checking these guys out right now, and we're also going to be looking at what is below down here, which is, oh, look at that. More awesome vintage Kenner Star Wars goodness. So yeah, guys, let's get on it. We're going to start right over there. Let's do it right now. Alrighty, guys, well, first shelf up tonight. Got some Rogue One love in here with K2SO from Hot Toys, as well as Jen Erso and Imperial Disguise, also from Hot Toys. Two really, really good figures. The K2SO has some kind of a die-cast metal plastic hybrid body. Very nice. A lot of weight to it. Very premium feeling. And his eyes do light up, although mine are getting a little dim, as you guys can see there. The Jen Erso is spot on, man. It just looks just like Felicity Jones. And I was really glad to go with that Imperial Disguise look. I really like that the best out of all her costumes in the film, especially like the batons behind her back. Those are magnetic on there, and the helmet and the blaster. Just really, really cool. Yeah, not much else to say. This is these are just two great figures. Alrighty, guys, so the next shelf down here is sort of a little bit of a hodgepodge of just various Jedi Knight awesomeness, I suppose. I've got the Episode 3 Obi-Wan Kenobi there, and I've never put him in any other pose but this one, and maybe someday I should probably reconsider changing him up a little bit. But anyway, he is there with the swaddled young infant Luke Skywalker as he's delivered to his aunt and uncles on Tatooine. Conversely, there's an elderly Luke Skywalker from Episode 7, actually, technically. But in my head canon, this is obviously a very, very elderly and super powerful Grandmaster Luke Skywalker there. I've kind of customized him a little bit, well, you know, slightly modified anyway, using some leftover accessories from some of my Return of the Jedi Luke Skywalkers, including that Jedi Knight vest there. You guys see him in that at the beginning of Return of the Jedi. I think it looks pretty good against the white there, the black and white contrast there from his Episode 7 garb. Obviously, he is levitating and using the Force and being powerful and wise and awesome. And then down here is the prequel Yoda. That is actually Sideshow Collectibles Yoda. Came out a number of years back, but anyway, he's supposed to be Yoda from Episode 2 and I think 3. I think you can mix and match there. But anyway, great looking Yoda. He came with a ton of accessories, but right now I just have him in there with these guys, chilling, looking cool. So I'm not sure if I'm real pleased how this diorama came out. This is my sort of my docking bay 94 corner there with basically pre-episode 4 Han and Chewbacca in there, safeguarding the Falcon, getting ready to take a shipment of spice somewhere, no doubtably, on a daring smuggling mission. But it looking really, really cool. I picked up that docking bay 94 3D print, I think off Etsy or eBay, can't remember which. And then I made this diorama to kind of go along with it. And it's very, very generalized, very, very plain. So it's supposed to be the cityscape of Mos Eisley. It's okay. I think it could come out a little better. I could do a little better work on this one. It just doesn't seem to have enough weathering in it or something. Something seems amiss here, but still it looks good with actually the Episode 7 Chewbacca technically, and of course the A New Hope Han Solo, both from Hot Toys. Alrighty, guys, I'm moving down to the last shelf on this particular detail. I've got a lot of Episode 3 / Clone Wars love in here with the menacing General Grievous. That is, of course, the Sideshow Collectibles General Grievous. Not the most recent version that came out. This one is the earlier one from the mid-20 teens, I want to say. I can't remember the exact date. Around the same time as the Sideshow Collectible 2-pack of basically Starship Cruiser droids came out. This is not they're not the infantry droids, but these are the droids that are always around VIPs and things like that, with their coloration and lack of communication backpacks. Anyway, I think. But anyway, they are very, very cool. Again, I got both 2 packs of the battle droids, both offered from Sideshow Collectibles a number of years ago, and they still look really, really great in my collection. And that General Grievous I love the face sculpt, man. It's awesome. Alrighty, guys, so going up to the top of the next detail, I've got sort of a Sith montage up here, so to speak. I've got 2 older Sideshow pieces in there, including that Darth Maul, which is a very, very old Sideshow piece. I've actually got a new Naboo Episode 1 Darth Maul coming via Hot Toys, and probably will get that in a year or so. But for right now, this is my Episode 1 Darth Maul, the old school Sideshow Collectibles one. Got that Emperor back there. That's actually a Darth Sidious, Episode 3 Darth Sidious. Again, he's also being replaced here in the next year with a more superior Hot Toy product, hopefully. And then that other Sideshow piece back there is Darth Malgus. That's a really fantastic, underrated piece that I have in my collection. Even his lightsaber's a bit dusty. I need to clean that up. Sorry about that. But yeah, he's a fantastic looking figure. And at some point, I'd like to get him featured more prominently in my collection because he's kind of hidden up here, and that's kind of a shame. And then I also have a Black Series Darth Revan, I want to say. I believe that's Darth Revan. And then we got some Sith artifacts there that came with the Emperor Darth Sidious 2-pack from Episode 3. Got a statue, a really cool looking Sith statue, and then a holocron. So yeah, kind of a cool shelf, I think. I don't know. Alrighty guys, next shelf, getting back to the film that started it all, the original Star Wars, or as A New Hope as we've come to know it over the years. I like this one a lot. This is a great shelf. Nice little diorama background there. 3 awesome Hot Toy figures, all these figures from Hot Toys. Luke Skywalker and Han Solo in Stormtrooper disguise, and then just the standard New Hope Princess Leia. Again, all 3 figures are great. I really like the Luke Skywalker of the 3 though. I think he's definitely the standout here. It's just, that's a dead ringer for Mark Hamill. He looks just like he just walked out of the set. Walked off the set from 1976 in Pinewood Studios and in England filming Star Wars. I love the glazed look on his face. His skin looks kind of damp and kind of sweaty, like he'd been wearing that stuffy Stormtrooper helmet. Just amazing paint apps on that action figure. And I love the Han too. I just that awesome smirk on his face, and yeah, it just looks incredible. And again, I love to put my action figures very often in candid poses, and I think this one just looks great with Luke and Princess Leia just giving Han the side eye there as he's just smirking at him. Just absolutely awesome. And of course, the Princess Leia figure is great too. So, all right, guys, coming down yet another shelf. Got a Tatooine theme going on this one. Got a Sideshow Collectibles Tusken Raider, the older Sideshow Collectibles Tusken Raider back there. Got the Mythos 1/6 scale Obi-Wan Kenobi with sort of the likeness of a younger Alec Guinness. Very, very cool looking figure, and comes with a ton of cool accessories with that backpack, multiple lightsabers, and just all kinds of crap that Obi-Wan might be lugging across the desert. I've got 2 Sideshow collectible Jawas in there, and their eyes light up, but they're such a pain in the ass to light up. I actually have to take off their hoods and stuff, and I've done them in previous room tours. I don't feel like doing it tonight, but their eyes do light up. They're decent figures, not the best. They're probably one of my least favorite figures in this collection, kind of just because of the logistics of getting their eyes to light up, and what's a Jawa without lit up eyes? But other than that, the soft goods and the overall design of them are okay. And then of course that Gonk droid in there is a Hot Toys. I bought it separately off eBay. Some guy was just selling the Gonk droid loose, and I picked it up for a very reasonable price. So, alright guys, last shelf in this detail, we're going to the Empire Strikes Back. Got Hot Toys Lando in there. Got Hot Toys Bespin Princess Leia, and then got sort of a custom, my attempts at a Bespin custom Han Solo, because I got sick of waiting for one. I bought the head off the internet from a third-party seller, I think, overseas, and then I just tried my best to customize that Han Solo costume from the old like 2006 era Sideshow figure in sort of a more standardized modern body. It didn't come out the best, but it's okay, and it's a good stand-in. Maybe someday we'll get that elusive Empire Strikes Back Han Solo from Hot Toys. I don't know why it's taken so long, kind of ridiculous. But anyway, three nice figures. I really like the Lando a lot. I think they really nailed Billy D in that on this figure. I mean, the Sideshow one that was out for years and years, that was, you guys saw earlier in the tour, is still a good figure, but this one is way better and really dynamite. And the Princess Leia is awesome as well. Alrighty guys, so changing up a little bit, we're going to go from the bottom up on this particular detail, and right away we got a really good shelf. This is my Dagobah themed Empire Strikes Back shelf with that awesome Yoda. I don't know if he's the headliner of this shelf, but he's really good. That awesome Empire Strikes Back Hot Toys Yoda there, using the Force, levitating stones, just looking epic, amazing, and mystic there with his eyes shut, using the Force. There's 2 different head portraits on this one. I went with the closed eyes version just to get a little something a little bit different in my collection and in my display. Cool looking R2-D2 there. His batteries are a little low, so he's not doing his full spectrum of light up effects there, but that's actually a Force Awakens R2-D2. But again, still an amazing action figure. In the back, we got Luke Skywalker. That is the Snowspeeder Hoth Dagobah version of Luke Skywalker from Hot Toys. I showed off his peer in as far as the Sideshow version of that particular figure earlier in the tour, but this one is definitely more Dagobah themed, as I've removed his insulated gloves and put just his bare hands on and his blaster in his hand there, and he's also got some of his effects from his X-Wing, including some a storage crate, and I think a little power generator there. So anyway, looking cool. And then, of course, the Obi-Wan Kenobi, that's an older Hot Toys figure, but still just absolutely amazing. It still looks like Alec Guinness, man. Has held up way better than the old Sideshow collectibles Obi-Wan you guys saw earlier in the tour. Just amazing action figure. So this is a really, really nice shelf of 4 really, really good figures.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Hey guys, next shelf up is an older shelf, one that I've never touched in the entire history I've had this in this YouTube channel, so I haven't touched this shelf in over 6 years. I've modified it a little bit over the years here and there, but it's pretty much stayed the same. I've got my Hot Toys Darth Vader from A New Hope in there. I think that's the first Darth Vader Hot Toys ever did, and I still think he's pretty awesome. And then he's flanked by 2 much older figures. Those are actually older Sideshow collectible stormtroopers that occasionally, every so often, I throw a little floor wax on them, and they really shine up really, really nice. I did add a little bit of a diorama in there that I bought off the internet. That's kind of newer in there. Bought that in probably the last year, but other than that, this shelf has stayed the same. But you don't change it if it looks good, so. Alrighty guys, and finally back up to the top. Got some oldies but goodies in this shelf as well. This is another shelf I've barely touched in the last 6, 7, 8 years. Anyway, I got Obi-Wan Kenobi and Qui-Gon in there. That Qui-Gon is viciously outdated. That's the old Sideshow Qui-Gon. The Obi-Wan is also a Sideshow collectibles figure, but he is a little newer. And so he still looks relatively decent, but the Qui-Gon, I probably really should have gotten the Hot Toys version. This guy has gotten really long in the tooth. But anyway, he's hiding up here, so it's okay, I guess. You guys, so taking just a quick little break. I've kept you guys captive inside of my details for quite a while now. I just wanted to show you guys a little bit of a pan and scan of what we have already checked out in as far as all of my Hot Toys and Sideshow collectibles. So we've come a long ways and just got a little further to go. So hang with me, guys. Hang with me. I really appreciate you. Alrighty guys, moving next door to our next detail. This one we're going to go top down again. Sort of got a holding shelf here with 2 figures that are probably destined for some different displays in relatively short order. But for right now, they're kind of hanging out here, and they look absolutely pretty good here too. I've got Episode 3 Anakin in there, the light side version, and of course a figure I just recently reviewed about a month or 2 ago, and I'm still really enamored with. That of course is the beautiful Episode 2 Padme Amidala. Great looking action figure. So in this shelf, we got definitely kind of a mixed bag with 2 Hot Toys and 1 Sideshow collectible figures, but all, of course, themed for the battle at Sarlacc Pit. We've got front and center there, Luke Skywalker, Return of the Jedi, Hot Toys Luke Skywalker with the iconic windswept hair, looking like he just stepped right out of the 1983 Return of the Jedi movie poster. Epic, iconic, and completely badass. He's got a CCFL lightsaber courtesy of Krista Guzman, so that is one of my favorites right there. Right next to him is a really cool figure. That is the Hot Toys Boba Fett in the vintage color scheme. And then right next on the other side of Luke is, of course, Lando Calrissian and Skiff-Guard. That's a Sideshow collectibles figure. I think that might have been the last figure, 1/6 scale standard figure that Sideshow put out. And he looks great. I hope Sideshow does more in the near future. Still in that Return of the Jedi theme, we've got 3 Hot Toy figures on this shelf, all indoor themed, obviously. We've got Luke Skywalker there. I like that figure. That's a great figure with the swooshing lightsaber effect that Hot Toys put into it. It's not lit up, which is unfortunate, but the way it sits in that white light, it kind of looks a little light up. The light moves off that plastic really, really nice. I mean, it's not as good, obviously, as a CCFL lightsaber, but or even an LED for that matter, but it looks pretty good, and that's a great figure. And then right next to him, of course, is Princess Leia with her indoor poncho, and she came in a 2-pack with Wicket here, so looking rad. detail for we're going back to The Empire Strikes Back as Han, Leia, and C-3PO are making their daring escape from Echo Base. Got the Sideshow Collectibles Han Solo there with the brown parka. I got the brown parka, not the blue parka. I wish I'd gotten the blue parka. And I wish I'd have gotten the Han with the removable hood. Unfortunately, I got neither here, but this one's okay. And of course, I got the a second Sideshow Collectibles C-3PO, but the star of this shelf is definitely the Hot Toys Princess Leia. She just looks absolutely stunning and gorgeous in her Hoth battle gear. We're in the last detolf, the very last detolf, and yes, we're going up to down this time. And in this case, we actually have a quarter scale action figure. This is a quarter scale Hot Toys figure, not a premium format Sideshow, but a quarter scale Hot Toys figure. And this is, of course, Darth Vader, looking badass. I think it's an Empire. I think it's either a Return of the Jedi or an Empire Strikes Back likeness. I'm not sure which, but he's a great figure. This might be my best Darth Vader I own overall. But we got more Darth Vaders to come on the tour, so maybe that's, you guys can decide for yourself which one's best. But I like this one a lot. Yeah, I don't know which is the best, but this one's definitely up there. All right, you guys, one nice thing about a quarter scale action figure is you jump quite a ways up to the detolf. We're on our second to last shelf here, and of course it's a goodie in this one. That, of course, is the pretty new, very recent anyway, Hot Toys Empire Strikes Back 40th Anniversary Luke Skywalker. In this case, he has a CCFL lightsaber, courtesy, once again, of my good buddy Chris Gooseman. Well, he's not, I don't know him personally, but he seems like a great guy. But anyway, this is a good one. I love this figure a lot. That's really, really awesome. This might be one of my more favorite Luke Skywalkers. Definitely one of my most recent ones. And looking really, really good in this detail. I was kind of getting ready to put a Darth Vader in there with him as well. As you guys can see, I got that. That's an older Sideshow Collectibles stand right next to him. Not the one lit up, obviously, but that's an older Sideshow Collectibles stand that I think came with my IG-88. But I was actually thinking about putting Darth Vader on there, and I may eventually do that. But for right now, Luke's soloing it in this shelf, and he looks really good. Alrighty, guys, and the last shelf, the last figure, the last 1/6 scale figure to show off in here. And it's a figure I haven't actually showed off on the Plastic Planet. I started to do a review on it, but I got so fucking frustrated with this figure that I actually just ditched the review. Because at the time, I didn't have a nice thing to say about it, because just pragmatically, it was a nightmare with trying to attach his hands and his helmet and everything. But it's an awesome looking figure. It just wasn't real fun to play with, I'll tell you that, or to get in any kind of pose. And maybe I'm just a moron. I had a hard time with it personally. But yeah, that of course is my Obi-Wan Kenobi battle damage Darth Vader with that awesome Hayden Christensen likeness in there. And this is like, I mean, just the aesthetics of this figure is a Darth Vader figure I've wanted for years. Definitely to give Hayden Christensen his due as Anakin Skywalker / Darth Vader. And I'm so glad that that has happened for him over the course of the last couple of years. So well deserved, because I've always been a big fan of him, going back to his premiere in Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. So it's been a long overdue and really awesome. And this figure really just encapsulates that with the likeness there. But the logistics of the figure are a little annoying. Everything is LED. That's an LED light-up lightsaber that he came with. Obviously not CCFL. Not as bright as a CCFL. If I had to pick one, I would pick the CCFL. But the LED's really pretty nice, and it's also has an unlimited run time on it. The CCFLs tend to heat up and you need to turn them off after a while, but this guy you could leave on indefinitely if you wanted to with those LED lights. And I love that all of his chest pieces, his chest plate and his belts all light up simultaneously off a switch. That's the first time a Darth Vader has ever done that, so in that case it's a really awesome figure. All my other Darth Vaders all have little battery packs in those belts and the chest piece, just a pain in the ass. But this figure, no, perfection. It all runs into a wire along his backside. Again, kind of a pain in the ass to hook up initially, but once you get it hooked up, it is pretty nice. But anyway, really awesome figure. At some point I'll get that video out for you guys that I started on him, and give him some of my final thoughts on it. But for right now, he's up here. I'm not happy with this shelf at all. This shelf needs to improve. I'm going to add some more appropriate diorama elements to it. Right now it's just, you just see light wires and it's just a mess. Not a good looking shelf, but the figure looks great. He's just a pain in the ass. capper on these details. Up at the top here, again, I'm on the step ladder with my head hitting the ceiling, but here is all of my wires up here. It's a mess, but I also have some awesome smaller Gentle Giant maquettes that run the length of the details. And these are fun figures. I've showed them off many times, and I have no desire to spend any calories on them tonight. But they're all really nice little maquettes, and they look good up here. Alrighty guys, well now it's time to check out what I have underneath my details, which as you guys can see, it's a whole lot of awesome vintage Star Wars love. And so we're going to take a look at what is underneath these shelves right now. Alrighty guys, so starting out on this shelf, I got my awesome Jabba the Hutt vintage collection, including a Jabba the Hutt playset there and Bib Fortuna. I also got the Ephant Mon. That's a, I believe that's a Stan Solo figure. Picked him up over a year ago. And I also got my Max Rebo band, which is complete and looking really, really awesome. Got a cool backdrop there. I think that's from Cardstock Cantina as well, but I can't quite remember. You guys are also going to see a record tote back there, a vintage Star Wars record tote, and the Return of the Jedi Parker Brothers Battle at Sarlacc Pit game from my childhood. Love the artwork on that, and I've talked that up several times here on the channel throughout the years in my many room tours. But yeah, still love that piece a lot.
Hey, don't be a dick. Subscribe to the channel. If you are subscribed, we love you.
Alright guys, I got a nice hodgepodge of vintage era stuff in this shelf here, including that awesome bar scene. That's actually a 3D printed bar scene, made very much in vintage stylization, I think. That is not, of course, a vintage piece in itself, but the figures around it are. Got Han Solo, Chewbacca, Hammerhead, as he's known in the vintage collection, Greedo, and of course, Walrus Man. And of course, moving over here, I've got my childhood land speeder there with my childhood original Tatooine or Farm Boy Luke Skywalker and C-3PO and R2-D2 in there as well. That Star Wars storybook in there with the obnoxious little sticker on it, obviously that's from my childhood if you guys couldn't tell, as well as that Star Wars George Lucas novelization back there, the original Star Wars novelization. That's a mid 80s printing of that book, so it's pretty old. And then there's a pseudo modern Hasbro Luke Skywalker back there. That was probably 2003, 2004 when that came out. And then of course I've got the 1978 1/6 scale, or really 12-inch scale Darth Vader there as well. Alrighty guys, next shelf over, I got my vintage Land of the Jawas playset that I picked up several years ago. And it's still holding up really, really well, and considering the age of the piece, and considering that Sandcrawler is essentially cardboard, and that cardboard is now, like me, pushing almost 50 years old. So it's old as dirt, and it's still hanging in there, even if it's basically eating itself, but it's still hanging in there. Some great figures in there. It got a custom R5-D4 in there with custom repro labels on it, an R2-D2, a C-3PO, a couple Jawas. One of those Jawas is from my childhood, but I can't distinguish which one now. And we might have a little Battlestar Galactica Easter egg in there, the second Easter egg of Battlestar Galactica in this collection. And we got the dewback with my childhood Stormtrooper atop it, and then some Burger King era glasses from The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, respectfully. Those aren't from my childhood, but I picked them up pretty recently at a collectible store or an antique store somewhere.
This may smell bad, kid. But it'll keep you warm.
Alrighty guys, I had one more shelf to go here in my vintage collection. That of course is my Empire Strikes Back Hoth themed shelf here. I've got the Rebel Troop Transport in the background there. I never had that as a kid, and actually only picked that up just recently, just a couple of years ago. I'm really thrilled to have it in my collection. I got the Luke Skywalker on Tauntauns from my childhood, as well as that Han Solo. And I've got a number of Rebel troopers in there as well. Nice C-3PO, nice Princess Leia, good looking shelf overall. The Wampa in the background, nice mini rig in there, and the turret and Probot playset picked up, oh man, a couple years ago as well. So nice ensemble of things that I picked up as an adult, and a few things I had as a kid as well in here. Alrighty guys, and finally coming up here, I got a 1/6 scale Sideshow Collectibles Luke Skywalker, the ceremonial Yavin 4 Luke Skywalker from the 30th anniversary of Star Wars. Got him obviously back in 2007. That math is easy to do. And then over here, I've got a Imperial Stormtrooper helmet. That's basically a piggy bank, and picked that up at Disneyland, I believe, at the Magic Kingdom there. number of years back, but still fun. And over here, guys, I got my Legacy Millennium Falcon from 2010. Had this guy for a really long time. For whatever reason, many of my room tours, I always forgot to show it off because I had it underneath a coffee table in here. But right now it's been moved over here and looks really, really good on this little table here right next to my detolfs. And above it, we got some shelving that we're going to go through really, really fast. I got some awesome reproduction Luke Skywalker and Yoda there, in obviously all their vintage glory. Got the VC Yoda there with a little bit of a diorama piece. I think that's more for a terrarium, but he looks good. And then over here, whoops, well, this is the second time you guys seen this diorama because I actually moved it in the middle of filming. But yeah, I've got Luke Skywalker there, the VC Luke Skywalker, the VC Return of the Jedi Onsol there in a cardstock cantina background that you've seen already, but now you're seeing it again. And then up here, one more shelf. I got this cheap shelf at freaking Ross. It's kind of bent up, but still looks decent, I guess. Because sort of a Luke Skywalker homage up here. Got the Mandalorian light cruiser, Imperial light cruiser Luke Skywalker. Got a reproduction vintage Luke Skywalker there. Got the Book of Boba Fett Luke Skywalker Jedi Academy figure. Got the Dark Empire Power of the Force era Luke Skywalker. And then back there was one of the first figures I ever bought, although that's not the particular one I bought, but that is the Darth Vader from the Power of the Force 2 with the long saber and the red card back. So looking cool. All right, guys, and then right above that, sort of got a Boba Fett pseudo shelf here with the VC Slave 1 that came out about 2 years ago. Got the prototype Black Series Boba Fett in there. Got the Return of the Jedi Black Series Boba Fett. And then I've got the Bad Batch here all represented. Once again, I cannot remember the name of this line. I know it's like a preschool line. It's really cool. Cute little line. I've obviously collected a few things from it. But I got the entire Bad Batch represented there. Found those guys on deep discount and picked them up. And then I've got a water bottle from the Solo movies that my dad got for me. So that's kind of cool. Guys, well, we have come a really, really long ways on this tour, and we're almost to the end, so just hang with me. We still have a few more premium items to show off and some other cool shit as well. Sort of a throwaway shelf up here above the stairway going up to the kitchen in the main room of my house, but just some throwaway items in here, some stuff I picked up over the years and some things that were given to me. Like my good buddy Timmy hooked me up with this awesome Phantom Menace empty Pepsi can from back in the day. And there's a Rise of Skywalker movie ticket back there. Honestly, I've never seen that movie. I think I already said that in this video, but never seen that movie, but my buddy hooked me up with a movie ticket, so I put it in there. And we got a Mandalorian lunchbox and some video game pieces and some other miscellaneous crap up here, but yeah, nice little shelf. Alright, you guys, and moving along here, got a TIE Interceptor up there. I think that's a Power of the Jedi TIE Interceptor with a TIE Fighter pilot there. And just sort of got a little mini diorama up here that I think came with a 3.75-inch Emperor set, but I kind of converted it into a Black Series one with the Emperor up there and a throne and some other goodies, including some Emperor Royal Guards and the chrome Darth Vader. And then over here we've got my vintage TIE Fighter from my childhood, my vintage original Return of the Jedi TIE Fighter with a vintage TIE Fighter pilot. You guys come into the doorway that goes down to the basement, which of course is the arcade/archive room. If you're a longtime viewer subscriber, you know that. But anyway, just got some miscellaneous stuff hung up on this wall, including that jumbo Gentle Giant Empire Strikes Back Darth Vader. And then there are some of the reproduction, but retro wave Kenner figures here. The first one that came out that I never actually got around to opening. And then there's a Grogu backpack, which is delightful and cute. And down here I got a plushy Jawa that originally was sold as a Halloween decoration. He came with a pumpkin, but I took that pumpkin cut that pumpkin out of his hands, basically. And he just sits down here all year long. Got a bunch of astromech droids here in this shot glass cabinet, basically. They all fit in there really, really nice. Those are 3.75-inch scale astromechs, so just a nice variety of different bots in this cabinet, but that's kind of fun, I think. Moving up here, got the Galaxy's Edge battle droid. Picked it up at Disney World last time I was there for my anniversary, and he talks when he wants to, but not right now. But yeah, he's cool. And some Anakin Skywalker love up here, some Anakin Skywalker Episode 2 love. That's the original Hasbro Anakin Skywalker on a G.I. Joe body, so he's a little undersized there, but I think he looks okay. And I got some 3.75 inch love. That Anakin's from the Evolutions line. There's a slightly newer Padme there in 3.75 inch. I mean newer, I think she's maybe, I don't know, 15 years old now? I don't know. Anyway, got a Gentle Giant bust. That's one of the original Gentle Giant busts that came out around 2002. And then I've got the VC, Obi-Wan and Anakin behind them on a card from Hasbro. Alrighty guys, so getting back into some really good stuff here. I've got two premium formats up here. That's the original Sideshow Collectibles premium format Darth Vader. Still, I don't know if he holds up, but he's still decent. And then there's a Sideshow Collectibles premium format Anakin Skywalker. His lightsaber batteries are dead, so I don't have them turned on currently. I got the original 1/6 scale Obi-Wan Kenobi from Sideshow there, as well as the Sith version of the Sideshow Collectibles and 1/6 scale Anakin Skywalker. This was a Comic-Con exclusive, and I can't remember which year. I want to say 2007. I went in both 2007 to San Diego Comic-Con and 2010. I think I got him in 2007, so I think he was the 2007 exclusive, but I could be wrong. But anyway, I still like those figures a lot. And then coming down to my next shelf here, guys, got some more premium love in there. Got a Luke Skywalker statue in there. I want to say that's Iron Studios Luke Skywalker. Got an LED lit up cheapo Death Star back there. Got the Gentle Giant Princess Leia. That's a relatively newer piece. Flanked by the Metacom C-3PO and R2-D2 1/6 scale, and I say 1/6 scale loosely. They're a little undersized. Got that cool, I can't remember the line this came out with. It was a 2019 line. Came out in conjunction with Rise of Skywalker, but they're sort of a stylized animated version of several different characters. I of course got Luke, Han, and Chewie there. I like that line. I just obviously wasn't going to collect the Rise of Skywalker characters from it. Gentle Giant Yoda there. Got a Gentle Giant micro bust of Obi-Wan Kenobi from the 2003 Clone Wars, and got a Stormtrooper mask there. Can't remember who made that, but that's courtesy of my good buddy Ginty again, who hooked me up with that, as well as that Vader mask as well. He hooked me up with that one as well, so thanks Ginty. But yeah, that's a nice shelf if I don't say so myself.
Steady, girl. Hey, what's the matter?
Guys, moving down to the next shelf, and this guy kind of sits by himself down here, as he should. Still one of my favorite pieces in my collection, and that is the 1/6 scale Sideshow Collectibles Luke Skywalker on Tauntaun. That Tauntaun is all polystone, but he's beautiful, and that Luke looks great on him. Still two pieces that really hold up despite their age. They're getting a little long in the tooth now. I think they came out in 2014, 2013, somewhere in there. But again, still holding up beautifully, and still have a prized place here in my collection. And just below that is the Black Series Snowspeeder. That's a nice piece. Came out a couple summers ago, and really do enjoy it. I got Luke Skywalker in the pilot seat there, and you can't see him, but I got Wedge Antilles in Black Series action figure form, manning the gunner station there in the Snowspeeder. So really cool. Got a vintage Empire Strikes Back lunchbox there from back in the day, 1980, 1981, somewhere in there. My wife picked that up for me. It's not from my childhood or anything. It was from somebody else's probably, but not mine. But my wife did pick that up for me as a gift. And then I've got, I think that came out when the original Star Wars film turned 40 years old, I think. And those were Target exclusive lunch boxes. They've since done other ones, and that I have up in other places here in the collection, but that's the Star Wars version. Alrighty guys, so there's a little bit of a long shot of where we are in the collection. And let's move up here to these shelves now and take a look at some of the premium goodness that's up here. These are definitely, we're getting into definitely grail pieces up here for sure.
The Force is with you, young Skywalker. But you are not a Jedi.
First up, guys, did a full review on this piece. This is my 1/1 scale Darth Vader from Sideshow Collectibles. This was a grail for me for many years, and I finally just saved up a ton of gift cards. When you have your mom and your wife and other members of your family hook you up with gift cards, over the course of about 2 years, you save up enough to buy this, and that's exactly what I did. Bought it almost exclusively with gift cards. I think I spent maybe $50 of my own money on it. So big shout out to my wife, big shout out to my mom who made this happen. In addition to my sister, I think threw some in, and maybe even my dad. But yeah, very cool. And then right next to it, I've got the more recent, I should say, Darth Vader from premium format figure from Sideshow Collectibles. Again, very, very beautiful. Love that LED lightsaber. They've improved the technology on this a ton since that first premium format Vader that I just showed you guys just a second ago. Very, very beautiful piece. Dig this one a lot. And then right over here, right by him, is a Gentle Giant Hayden Christensen toasted burnt Darth Vader there. I like that one a lot too. That's a great piece. And then I've got a Master Replica's lightsaber hilt in there, Darth Vader lightsaber hilt, and a Darth Vader 3D printed sign that I got off Etsy. So that's a nice shelf. And it does help to have that Imperial wall behind it with those backlit Imperial Star Destroyers that I created. Basically created a canvas myself and stretched that silk, sort of a silk poster, stretched it out over that and backlit it. So I think it looks really cool. And here's this area without the main floodlights on. So again, looking rad. Need to get the batteries in that Anakin premium format replaced, but yeah, looking cool. Alright guys, coming down the shelf here, we got Din Djarin there. That's the non-chrome Mandalorian figure that came out. I think it's the deluxe version, I'm not sure. But anyway, he came with a Grogu and a pram and all that. But anyway, I've got him displayed here on the swoop bike that was sold separately with Grogu in the bag there. Really from season 2, episode 1 of The Mandalorian. Looking pretty rad there. And then right next to it, I've got a diorama that I've had for a really, really, really long time. Way before I ever had this YouTube channel, I picked this up. That's a Sideshow Collectibles Polystone diorama. I'm not sure the scale on it. It's definitely smaller than 1/6, but bigger than 1/12. I'll just put it that way. It's a nice piece. It needs to be put back together. I've got some outstanding pieces over to the side there that are a little hard to put on without breaking, so I need to probably do that. But anyway, got those that guy hanging out there. Looks really, really nice, and it's been there for a while, and it was in last year's room tour. Actually, every room tour I've ever done for this channel it's been featured in, so I won't go into too much detail on it, but it's still nice. Alrighty guys, on the next shelf I've got a Sideshow Collectibles Biker Scout. That's the Biker Scout that Sideshow Collectibles did, not Hot Toys, and he's actually on an old Hasbro speeder bike. And for being over 20 years old, that speeder bike still looks relatively decent. And I made the diorama myself out of some bits and pieces that I had from other accessories from figures, and then I kind of half-ass printed out that backdrop there and threw in some other miscellaneous pieces, including some Spanish moss and some aquarium or terrarium pieces as well. Hey guys, another complete miscellaneous piece, including some Kotopakia droids in there. A Gentle Giant Darth Vader, got that back in 2005. A Gentle Giant Count Dooku and Asajj Ventress, as well as a Gentle Giant Stormtrooper bust and Leia in Bouche disguise. Guys, really quick to finish up here, we're going to start right over in here past these shelves, and we're going to start right with my Disney Build-A-Droids down there and work our way back over to where we started. Alright guys, so as I said, these are my Disney Build-A-Droids. 3 of these I built myself. One of them was Chopper, and he was like the R2-D2 you guys saw way earlier in the tour. He just came in his own packaging, but they all work the same. They're all remote control. They're all really awesome. I've showed them off in multiple videos, and like I said, I did have a really good, fun video of them trying to climb my iced over driveway last winter, back in January. If you didn't check out that video, do check it out. It's fun. So anyway, do love the Build-A-Droids. They're just awesome and just cool, and they're really, really fun toys. And one more thing before I move on from these guys. I do have them displayed on top of an old room fridge that I got for my youngest son. It's actually supposed to be an Xbox room fridge, but it burnt out on us. It was kind of a piece of shit. But it is cool to display my Build-A-Droids on, and I also have some spare heads and my remote control stored in there. So again, it's a cool display option, just reusing basically what would amount to junk that I would otherwise end up throwing in the recycler or throwing away in the trash. Really quickly to finish out this room tour, I've got my 1995-1996 Power of the Force 2 X-Wing fighter. sitting on a piece of acrylic up here to give it a little bit of a flight display. Looking nice. It's got Jet Porkins manning it, so that's kind of rad. Back there I have a Gentle Giant Han Solo bust, in addition to a few more items in this cubby here that's above my, or below my TV, I should say. I've got a Return of the Jedi lunchbox with the original thermos. Again, not mine from my childhood, but something my wife picked up for me from, I think, Goodwill Auctions, if I'm not mistaken. Got a Black Series Chewbacca in there. Got an Ewoks VHS. That is courtesy of my late mother-in-law, so she got me that years and years ago. I think, again, at a thrift store or something, but that's kind of fun. And then there's also an AT-AT Walker in there. I can't remember what line that is. That might actually be an Action Fleet AT-AT Walker. I'm not sure. And then there is a beer stein in here, a Star Wars beer stein that I just removed so you guys could see that thermos. And there's the Ghost of Yoda up there as well in Black Series form. All right, guys, right here I've got a vintage snowspeeder from The Empire Strikes Back from 1980, 1981. Picked this up at a collectible antique store a couple years back, and that pilot in there is actually my original Luke Skywalker in Jedi gear or Jedi flight suit from when I was a kid. So that's kind of fun to have that original figure there from my childhood. Then moving over here, we got another die-cast metal snowspeeder. Not sure what collection that was in. In here, in this cubby, I got a little diorama there of Luke Skywalker and his land speeder. That was a Black Series set that came out, I think, in 2015 or actually, I think it was 2017 with the Last Jedi merchandise release. But yeah, very, very cool looking Black Series piece. On top of this acrylic stand I picked up off eBay, I have my original childhood X-Wing fighter with, I actually cleaned it up and did put some new decals on it and cleaned it up and actually got the battery working, so that's really cool. Yeah, that's just beautiful. That horrible grinding motor sound, that's 1981 right there for you guys. Alrighty guys, in this last cubby here, I've got two hyper-real figures. The only hyper-real figures that they came out of. These were originally marketed in the Black Series line, but they're slightly larger than 1/12. They're somewhere between 1/12 and 1/6 scale. Not sure exactly what scale they would be, but they're the hyper-real Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader. I think these were both, I got both of these at GameStop, if I'm not mistaken. Came with a lot of accessories. I did full reviews on these back in the day when they came out, but nice figures. I wish they would have done more with this line, but really, really nice. Hyper-posable. Very, very cool. The rubber on the Luke is starting to wear a little in the armpit, which is kind of sad. I didn't think that would happen, but in this short of time, I should say. But nevertheless, still really good figs. Alrighty, guys, we are almost to the end here, guys. I've got a couple more pieces to show off to you guys, including my quarter scale or premium format C-3PO and R2-D2 lit up here. These guys are from Sideshow Collectibles. And then right next to them, they've got a quarter scale Grogu that came out from Hot Toys. He was sold separately and also sold with a Din Djarin 1/4 scale set. But here, I just got him loose, obviously, here. But he fits really, really nice with the quarter scale C-3PO and R2-D2 premium format figs. I love this display. Alrighty guys, so getting down to the nitty gritty here, that pram is from the quarter scale Grogu I just showed you guys. We got the 3 Sideshow Collectibles indoor Rebel soldiers that came out in the mid to late 2000s, including 2 generic soldiers, I think, and Nick Saint is what his name was, the old guy with the beard. Not Captain Rex. I don't know about that retcon. To be honest with you, that figure looks more like my father-in-law than Captain Rex, so yeah, we'll go with that. But anyway, right next to them is a 1/6 or 12-inch scale TC-14 from Hasbro, still in the packaging there from the Phantom Menace released run back in 1999 or 2000. And then there is that generic R7 droid that came with a droid pack from the Force Awakens. Anyway, I like that droid, and I actually weathered him up. I think he looks pretty good. Almost there, I promise. We are coming up here. We've got the Return of the Jedi premium format Darth Vader, again 1/4 scale Darth Vader here, again with that LED lightsaber. I've had him for a number of years now. I really do enjoy having him in my collection. I'm not real happy where I have him currently, but he looks fantastic. Alrighty guys, just up from there, more premium format love. Got premium format Chewbacca. That's the first run that Sideshow Collectibles did. And then there's that premium format Han Solo, again one of the very first premium format figures that Sideshow did, but the very, very first one is up here, and that is, of course, the premium format Luke Skywalker. I believe he was previewed back in 2005 and was hit retail in 06. So he's one of the he's not only the first premium format pieces that Sideshow ever did. He was the very first Star Wars piece that Sideshow ever was licensed. So very, very cool. Two more pieces to get to, guys. I got the premium format Luke Skywalker from The Empire Strikes Back up here. I got him a number of years ago and did a full review of him on the channel here. And then lastly, I have my premium format with the battery not working, but the premium format Luke Skywalker from Return of the Jedi from, I believe, 2008. Yep, holy crap, a couple bonus pieces to show you guys. I moved that old sofa out that I mentioned at the beginning of the video. This video has actually taken me a couple weeks to film and edit, guys. So things have been changing while I've been shooting. But I did move my Razor Crest, my HasLab Razor Crest that I didn't actually help support back when it was kickstarted. I actually ended up picking it up in the secondary market off Mercari, but got a pretty good price on it. So yeah, it's really, really rad. It didn't come with some of the exclusive figures. That's the only thing the seller kept, and that's cool. I got a good price. So yeah, here's the HasLab Razor Crest and all of its 3.75-inch glory over here on that got kind of stuck between here at this couch and my Black Series collection that I showed you guys at the beginning of the video. And not to be completely outdone, yeah, I have the N1 Naboo converted modified starfighter from Mandalorian Season 3, and I guess Book of Boba Fett as well. I love that ship too. They're both cool, and I do love Baby Grogu hanging out in that pod. Oh, and just one more cool thing to point out here in the stairwell coming down to my Star Wars room. My wife picked this cool Jabba the Hutt mural from Galaxy's Edge. Actually, you can actually see it in Return of the Jedi. It's on the sail barge, and there's Jabba there, and it has, I don't know, it has sort of a ancient Egyptian kind of feel to it, sort of like a Raiders of the Lost Ark mixed with Star Wars feel to it. But that's just rad. I love that a lot. Well, all right, guys. Well, thank you so very, very much for sticking with me through that entire 3-hour plus video. I really, really appreciate it. And if you're not a subscriber, please do consider subscribing to this channel. I would really, really appreciate it. And if you already are subscribed and you're watching my video, hey, thanks so much. And thanks so much for sticking with me, guys. I really appreciate and love you guys so much. All right, guys. Till next time. Remember, guys, life is also very, very, very short. So get out there and fill it. Fill it with some plastic shit. All right, guys. Till next time. Later. Love you. Bye. Holy crap, you guys, I forgot to show you my Ewok Village, my vintage Ewok Village, man. I got all these figures in here. Most of these are actually from my childhood that are hanging out in this Ewok Village, including that last 17 Luke Skywalker back there in indoor poncho, and that Wicket and that Han Solo, and yeah, even that 3PO up there, and Logray and Tebow, all from my childhood, and Chief Chirpa. Yeah, this is rad. Alright, guys, I'll see you later. Oh shit, I forgot my Royal Starship. Yeah, I got the Royal Starship. Bought this sucker back in 1999, and I remember getting it in the mail at my dad's house right before I moved out after I graduated from college. But yeah, man, I loved getting this piece. This is one of the best Star Wars playsets that was offered for a really, really long time. It's awesome. Freaking rad. Alright, guys, this time for real. I'll see you later. Holy crap, I forgot to show you guys my vintage 1978 R2-D2 and C-3PO. Yeah, these guys are rad. I didn't have these when I was a kid. I didn't have any 12-inch scale or 1/6 scale action figures when I was a kid, but I got these as an adult, and these are really, really awesome. And look, I built them a little foam display base. Yeah, that's so cool. Alright, guys, really, this time, I mean it. I'm gone. Later. Holy crap, there's a whole secret cubby down here full of shit. Look at this, my Sideshow Collectibles Obi-Wan Kenobi there from the Clone Wars. And there's also a Disney Store exclusive Director Krennic. And oh my god, look, I've got figures still in boxes that I forgot I had. I'm a fucking hoarder. Look, there's R2-D2. And there's what is this? Oh, this is Galen Erso. Man, I picked them up at Ross for like $5 because they had like 30 of them there. Man, I forget all the figures I have in here. What else is in here? Holy shit, it's a Stormtrooper with a bazooka, gaming grates. I forgot I had this too. Fuck me.